well enough. Yeah, with the subdomain, I was suggesting it would be like a third-party entity. But I think your idea and suggestion about the Bitcoin.com exchange would be interesting. I'm not sure Roger would go along with it, but he was on Reddit earlier and messaged that he is a Dash fan and a masternode operator, and he was talking about the exchange. So you never know; he may actually be open to that. I'm not sure. I'm not sure if he would be down for the more favorable rates for Dash, considering he's trying to push Bitcoin Cash as a digital payment solution. But hey, it's a conversation worth having.
He has to have also Bitcoin Cash. Let's call it a Bitcoin Cash exchange, even though it definitely is not. It's much more than that. It's business. It definitely is like their own exchange because there is no DAO, there is no diff to kind of negotiate this sort of thing. It's like play second fiddle to everything, or else just get bribed all the time. It's like, well, why don't we just build our own thing that kind of works the way we want it to, and it still makes a profit, but it just works the way we want it to. So I think that if there was a way that Bitcoin Cash as a whole could invest in a bunch of different exchanges, and by doing so negotiate favorable rates and equity, I mean, they would.
You're 6 minutes away from a live episode of Free Talk Live. Listen live at freetalklive.com.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,518. Silver at $18.67. And Bitcoin is trading around $10,581. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, in the state of California, up until this week, citizens who were able-bodied persons 18 years of age or older would be charged with a crime if a police officer asked them for help and they refused. All of that has since changed, as Governor Gavin Newsom has signed a bill that no longer requires or forces citizens to help police officers. The law was still on the books from the days of the Wild West. The California Posse Comitatus Act of 1872 made it a crime punishable by up to a $1,000 fine for refusing to respond to a police officer's call for assistance during an arrest. The Free Thought Project reports that it took until 2019 to change the bill that essentially turned citizens into indentured servants of police officers. Such bills were originally drafted as a means to garner help for cops who were attempting to catch fugitive slaves. As the Sacramento Bee points out, Posse Comitatus derives from medieval English common law, but saw widespread use in America's early days, including as a tool of enforcement for the Fugitive Slave Act. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. As YouTube, Google, and Twitter crack down on peaceful channels, censor alternative media, and allow child exploitation videos to flourish, the Federal Trade Commission has slapped the tech giant with a $170 million fine and other sanctions for unscrupulously and illegally tracking children. The Free Thought Project reports that the fine was the result of a lawsuit against the company for violating the rights of children under 13 years of age by tracking them online without their parents' consent. Political reports that under a consent decree, YouTube will require users to self-identify whether videos they upload are meant for children, obtain parental consent before collecting personal information about kids, and provide its employees with annual training on how to comply with the children's privacy law. For the last 5 years, a serial rapist has terrorized the state of Georgia. At least 8 different cases of rape and sexual battery have been tied to 24-year-old Kenneth Bowen III. But until now, he has avoided getting caught. But all that changed when the very department who was investigating his case caught him after he began the process of becoming a cop. Clayton County Police Chief Kevin Roberts, during a news conference held last week, said, quote, "Had he not attempted to join ranks in the Clayton County Police Department, it is questionable as to when we would have apprehended him." When looking through police employee records, investigators found details that link Bowen to the cases. A search warrant to obtain Bowen's DNA was obtained last week, which linked him to at least 8 different attacks on women. After he was arrested, Bowen was charged with 7 counts of rape and 1 count of sexual battery. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snos.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNOS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snos.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
A hot new murder craze sweeps Chicago. Things that shouldn't be said in modern society are said 1,400 times at the RNC, and a brave woman enters a restaurant without first looking it up online. This is the Onion Week in Review. The World Wildlife Fund quickly backtracked Thursday from a recently released press statement saying panda ears are, quote, absolutely delicious. Organization officials noted that while panda ears do taste amazing braised, steamed, fried, or cooked in an omelet, they should not have announced it publicly, nor should they have ever eaten any part of a cheetah, giraffe, or Bengal tiger, no matter how good they may be. According to company sources, the Netflix board of directors held a tense series of meetings earlier this morning to decide whether the fantasy comedy Michael is stream-worthy. The board reportedly sat through its mandatory 2 back-to-back screenings of the 1996 film starring John Travolta as an angel visiting Earth, all while passionately arguing over the film's story, acting, and level of enjoyment upon subsequent viewings to determine if the movie should be available through its instant viewing program.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. You can take control of the airwaves here. It's our live Sunday edition of the program. As usual, the toll-free lines are open and available to you over at 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord on-air call-in line rooms. They are a very, very nice way to call in. You'll sound almost like you're sitting here in the studio with us if you join those rooms. And there are several of them available to you over at our Discord server at discord.lrn.fm. Here tonight, it's Ian,
Richie Rich,
and Mark. All right, of course, you can bring up anything you want, but normally we bring stuff to the table to talk about. And usually when 2 of us, or more than 2 of us, agree that this is, we've sort of brought in independently the same news story. We got to talk about it because it's synergy. And you and I basically had the same story tonight, Richie. You had an opinion piece about an opinion piece.
Yes.
The original opinion piece was written by none other than New York Mayor Bill de Blasio, who, I didn't know this, apparently he's running for president.
So him and a whole bunch of other people that nobody cares about.
I guess he's not doing that well in the polls. How's that?
Yeah, I don't pay any attention to the polls, so I had no idea. And he wrote this piece for Wired magazine, and this is one of those topics, and that is robots, that is going to come up again and again and again as we get on into the future, as more robots become more affordable, as robots become more ubiquitous in our lives, not just in our homes, but at the workplace, and when we go out to grab some food at a restaurant or whatever, you're going to likely start to see more robots. We've already seen stories about automated cars. There's a news story that I've had in show prep for a couple of days we haven't talked about, where there's apparently a robot ship that is set to cross the Atlantic. The idea being, why should a ship have human beings running it? why not just let the ships just travel with a robot driver? I mean,
well, most of it's automated anyway, right? Like the captain of the ship is not sitting there behind
behind a wheel
the whole
right.
trip across
crusty
the
old codger with a corncob pipe.
Yeah.
Right. I mean, these ships have gotten more and more sparsely manned as time goes by. But I agree. You're talking about a place that largely has nothing to run into. Now,
the ocean,
the opposite of that,
except for other ships.
Yeah, the opposing
and
view
icebergs.
would be this: if something if you manage to find something to run into, it's a very costly mistake.
Sure,
a mistake that could be circumvented by having, I don't know, a captain on the boat.
Could be. I mean, it's certainly, and we can talk about the robot ship or whatever, just kind of going through a few different examples. Years ago when we first moved here, Mark, I remember they had the little robot Roomba vacuum cleaner thing. So, I mean, even as far back as, a decade plus, there were robots that were coming into our lives. And surrounding, to me, I find robots to be interesting and exciting and like, wow, that's really cool. And, they got the robot burger flippers now. That's a thing, apparently, for...
You're right. Soon robots will take over a lot of jobs, and
that's what's got people scared.
Right. I mean, this time when, at this point in the economy, I've heard the experts say, if you want a job, you've got one. Mm-hmm. People are worried that they won't have a job in the future, and I suspect that's what the Luddites were concerned with back in the day. And that's not just an insult. There actually were Luddites. Mm-hmm. And
these are people who are against technology development.
They were against factory assembly lines.
Well, and technological innovation transcends all of human history as well, right?
Sure.
People get upset at whatever change is happening during their lifetime.
Whatever new thing that threatens oh my God, my life is going to be different. Who moved my cheese?
Yeah. And, there's obviously going to be other jobs, and people will probably their careers will span several different types of jobs. I've been a roofer, a retail salesperson. I've done a cabbie. I've been, worked at convenience stores, and now I happen to be on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
I've done a bunch of different things. Sales, of course, has been a large portion of my life. So... I mean, you're just
versatile.
These jobs where you just go to work there at 18 and end up. I mean, those are from stories at this point. There are some people still retiring from those jobs, but jobs are out there. And
what about the training period between when you lose your job and when you learn the new skill to get you into the next
That
job?
is the job of the employer, and many of them will pay it.
For the new job?
Sure.
Okay.
You've got to look.
Depends on how desperate they are to find somebody.
If they want somebody to do the job, they're going to have to train them to do it.
If you can't find somebody who already knows.
Plenty of people out there do manage to do the training ahead of time and pay for it so that they can, compete more readily against the other folks. But, it doesn't always work out. Sometimes you're training for a job that doesn't exist. How's things going with that MBA of yours?
Still have it.
So here's the fear-mongering from Wired Magazine. Again, this is an article written by Bill de Blasio, and it's entitled, Why American Workers Need to Be Protected from Automation. He says, as president, I would issue a robot tax for corporations displacing humans and create a federal agency to oversee automation. They call it the Lights Out Factory, a manufacturing complex run by Japanese company Fanuc, F-A-N-U-C. It spans 22 facilities, producing 23,000 computer parts each month for companies like Tesla and Apple. The plant runs close to 24 hours a day, every day of the year.
That's the beautiful thing about it, right? Because the factory worker will run either one or two shifts.
Then they got to pee.
And then they got to at the end of the shift, the factory shuts down because everyone goes home for the night.
Unless they're going around the clock.
Right. Well, in this case, they do go around the clock, and without the added expense of the electricity to light the factory.
Right. You don't need to run the lights. The robots don't need those.
Yeah.
The complex seems to run so smoothly, it might take a moment to realize that something's missing. Human workers. Fanuc's factory is 100% automated, with robots going unsupervised by a human for as many as 30 days at a time. The scale of automation in our economy is increasing far faster than most people realize, and its impact on working people in America and across the world, unless corralled, will be devastating. Already, according to the Brookings Institute, so he's saying, we got to corral this progress. We can't just have crazy progress with more efficiency and lower prices for everybody on the planet.
Right. Well, the price of labor is completely different than the price of everything else because labor means people, and we shouldn't be talking about economics when we're talking about people or some such garbage.
When you're talking about
crap.
economics, you're talking about people.
It's exactly what it is. Yeah. And, what it's saying here is that I don't even know. We need crappy old jobs, outdated jobs, because otherwise people won't have jobs.
That's the fear.
What evidence do you have of this claim?
Well,
in the future, we could very well have all the jobs we need. At this point, we know that there are more jobs than there are people in the United States because the price of labor is going up.
Well, also,
that's how it's supply and demand, ladies and gentlemen. Supply remains whatever it is, and then demand, goes with a good economy is going up.
Well, we also know there's more people on the planet than ever before also, right? So like when automation was becoming a thing, because it didn't used to be a thing, there wasn't mechanical automation until there was. You had to have a whole lot more people building and digging and, doing all the things that people did before there were machines to do those things.
Sure.
And there were people who were mad about that back then at that time. So it's, it sounds very familiar to me. Not that I was around back then, but these arguments seem
it's
like
the same old dumb crap trotted out by the same old folks. And at this point, you're like, whether it was the Roman Tribune saying, I'm for the people, or Bill de Blasio out there saying, I'm for the working guy, it's all the same old crap. They're lying still, thousands of years, and people still fall for the same old crap lie.
Well, because fear is a motivator, right? Fear's something that gets people's attention, and it's certainly possible that
there's
your
no
job...
politician on the planet that gives a damn about you.
No, that's true.
That's where you start from.
Yeah, that's true.
It's also the mentality of the people involved, right? Because even my stepdad is a little bit older, and I see his posts on Facebook and whatever, and he's floating around this thing that says, don't go through the automated checkout at the grocery store.
Yes.
Wait for the cashier, because if you line up enough people in the cashier line, that store will have to pay another employee. Whereas if you go through the automated line, you're basically doing their labor for free. I go, well, great, because now wages go up, costs go up, and now everyone pays more because you don't want to check out yourself.
The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. You can join us, share your thoughts on the future of automation and your job. It's Free Talk Live.
You might be living in a free country, but are you living a free life? Are you able to do whatever you really want to do? Being stuck in a job or difficult business, or being locked into a relationship with a woman you might like, but you're not free to do what you want. I'm Caleb Jones, and my staff and I have taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create location-independent income and how to date women under your terms. Go to freelifeinfo.com to download 7 free books and podcasts so you can live a life like this too.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. Local.bitcoin.com.
You're not a wild animal, and you shouldn't be tagged and tracked like one. Where you go and what you do every minute of the day, tracked and recorded by your mobile phone, is often more revealing than your browser history. And tech companies make a fortune selling your location history without your consent. GoDark bags prevent location tracking and protect your privacy by instantly blocking all cell phone, GPS, and Wi-Fi signals to your mobile device. Plus, they're durable, water-resistant, and built for a lifetime of protection. Visit GoDarkbags.com/FTL. That's GoDarkbags.com/FTL.
A prison rights group protests the treatment of supervillains in the nation's magnetic detainment cubes. A local dad thought he could make it out of a zoo without buying his kids light-up shit, it, and a pigeon wishes just once it could complete a head movement smoothly. This is the Onion Week in Review. Millions of frustrated Americans across the country asked this week why the nation's struggling mental health system couldn't just get it together and stop feeling sorry for itself. Exasperated citizens told reporters that they had lost all patience with the ailing network's failure to perform basic tasks, such as routine mental health evaluations and emergency counseling.
Look, I get it. Everyone goes through a rough patch. Just look at the education system. I know times are tough, but things are never going to improve unless the system decides it wants to get better.
In other news, a new study finds that more men are opting to be in the room when their wife conceives their baby. An area man is unaware all of his friends think of him when they want to put things into perspective, and 36 chemical and emotional responses are activated by the phrase pigs in a blanket.
This is the Onion News Network.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com. The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount.
Now you can follow LRN.FM on the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk live Sunday edition of the program, talking about the fear-mongering, the ongoing fear-mongering that some politicians are using to, of course, try to get your vote. In this case, it is Bill de Blasio. You may know him as the mayor of New York City, and apparently he wants to be your president, and he's trotting out the old canards about how robots are going to take over your jobs and people are not going to be able to work anymore, and so therefore, blah, blah. We haven't gotten into the full piece yet, so we'll get into a little bit more of what he has to say. With you tonight, though, it's Ian,
Rich,
and Mark.
And I want to make sure you know how to get your phone off the grid. You go to godarkbags.com/FTL, like Free Talk Live, to get your Faraday bag for your phone. That way...
Got mine in my car.
That way, anytime you need to not be tracked, you just pop the phone in the bag. Doesn't matter if your phone's on or off. The signals are not going to get in or out. And by the way, it's important to know that if you think that you can avoid being tracked by putting your phone in airplane mode, that is not necessarily the case. When you put it into airplane mode, it still apparently is tracking you based on your GPS position. And then when you turn off airplane mode, your phone will upload all that data to wherever it is that wants to know. So if you want to protect yourself, godarkbags.com/FTL. Get your Faraday bag from Godark Bags at godarkbags.com/FTL. So anyway, de Blasio has written this piece for Wired magazine, who apparently is taking this guy seriously. I guess Wired doesn't really understand, the history of automation and
he's
economics.
Got a big name. I don't see why they wouldn't take him seriously.
I wouldn't publish him.
Well,
Wired's in it for the clicks.
Or if I did, I'd publish a counterpoint. Here's what Bill de Blasio says. Here's what whoever is, sane has to say about
Bob
this.
Murphy.
So let me go on with more of the fear-mongering here. He's talking about this factory in China that has, runs 24 hours a day. They don't have any lights because there's no humans. It's just all machines going, unsupervised. Obviously, somebody's probably coming in to fix them when they break. But beyond that, there's not really any staff of which to speak.
Hard to believe with the cost of labor in China, as I presume.
Hard to believe that they have
There is a
automation.
factory in China that is completely automated when the cost of labor, I would presume, is significantly cheaper.
Well, you may be right about that, but they're doing it, and so it must be economically feasible.
Or maybe it's just a prototype, proof of concept.
Concept.
Yeah.
Already, according to the Brookings Institution, 36 million American jobs are highly likely, they say, to be automated out of existence in the coming decades.
Let's see, 36 million jobs. I don't know how many working Americans there are, but if you presume that 4/5 of Americans work and that 1/5 are either too young or too old to work, then, it's not a big percentage. And I would think it's significant, but it's not a gigantic percentage. And I mean, can the economy not provide jobs for more of those folks?
Yes, of course it can, because new jobs get created over time as other jobs get eliminated. The marketplace is always developing. There's always new innovations and new ideas and new companies opening.
Right. There are jobs today that never existed 20 years ago.
Instagram influencer.
Right. YouTube producer.
Twitch player. Right? People get paid to play video games now.
Yeah.
Indeed.
Doesn't that beat factory work?
Esports is much better than factory work.
Yeah. So he goes on to claim, but automation and human employment should not be viewed as mutually exclusive. America has welcomed technological advancement throughout our history, and we still should, as long as the benefits of those advancements are shared evenly, instead of solely going to big corporations. As mayor of New York and as a candidate for president focused on the needs of working people, I've seen at home and across the country that workers can benefit from these technological changes, but we can't let American jobs be replaced by them. That's why I'm proposing a new plan today to protect American workers and ensure that we all share in the gains from technological advancement.
Just roll back all the technological advancement then and open up a whole bunch
Bring
of
back
jobs.
ditch diggers.
There you go.
Well, this guy gets to decide. Bill de Blasio is smart enough to know which technology we need and which technology we don't need.
That's part of the problem here.
That's exactly what this is. This is one control freak telling you, well, this is how the world needs to be shaped into the future. City planners, bureaucrats of all sorts, that's what these people are. They're simply control freaks. And when the market is allowed to expand without undue fetters, then, well, it's going to provide us with the best possible outcomes.
And that means lower prices.
Right.
And that means your dollars that you earn go further, meaning you have a better quality of life if this man and his bureaucrats don't get in the way.
If you have the job, though. According to him, if you're out of work, your dollar doesn't go anywhere because you don't have any money to spend and you don't have the skills to transition quickly into another job. So what about those people?
Yeah, I mean, this is just based on pure fear-mongering, the idea that jobs will not be created. What he's suggesting is, and it may be true, that there may very well be 36 million or more or less or whatever, millions and tens of millions of jobs that don't exist in the coming decades anymore. But what he's not saying is that there's probably going to be another 50 million that are created that didn't exist.
Entirely new sectors that no one can predict yet.
Yeah.
I read a book in the 80s. It was a class requirement, and it was written by Alvin Toffler. I don't remember what his...
I've heard that name before.
I don't remember the name of the book, but it was one of his more famous books. In it, he went on to explain what the future was going to be like. And, the guy's got some hits, and he's got plenty of misses.
Sure.
This is one guy who claimed to know what the world was going to be like in the future. Couldn't predict the internet. Nope. Not in its not in its full flower by any stretch of the imagination in the modern sense. I mean,
I still like the theories, though. I mean, you read about what the future is going to be. It's like, wow, that's exciting. That's exciting and new, and I want to be a part of that.
I love, futurists are great. It's a great way to sell books.
Oh, absolutely.
But it's not like, Alvin Toffler didn't know what the future was going to be like 30 years out. He's still alive, probably. I don't know. And he couldn't predict what 30 years out was going to be like. How is Bill de Blasio going to predict it? That's what these people are proposing to do, is they're proposing to predict the future. We need to stifle growth in this particular area because growth in this area is bad, is the claim, and it will result in the future in bad things. Well, how does Bill de Blasio know?
Well, that's the thing. He doesn't know, but he's trying to create it.
Right.
Because if he gets elected, he can stifle those future growth And therefore, his future is the one that pans out because he's in control.
And, he's playing to the fears of the present based on the prosperity of the future. We will eliminate this prosperity that we will have in the future to benefit us today. We will mortgage our grandchildren's future for you today.
So
and that's what the government does, ladies and gentlemen. Yeah. That's what debt is. You currently are paying the debt on debt that has existed since before the United States Civil War. If you don't understand that you are mortgaging by voting for these disgusting, slime-covered politicians, that you're mortgaging your grandchildren's future, well, that's what your great-great-grandparents did.
Well, he's got a plan, and we're going to share what he wants to do.
He's an idiot.
Yeah, well, he's the mayor of New York. And
he's people a rich, powerful idiot.
People are going to take him seriously. We'll tell you about it coming up here. 855-450 free. Are you afraid of the future? Are you afraid of change? 855-450 free, like freedom. Free Talk Live.
Do you have a crypto wealth advisor or coach? If so, has your cryptocurrency advisor been investing in technology stocks for over 20 years? Have they left the corporate world and retired? Or are they still trying to make a weekly paycheck? Have they produced six-figure results for their customers in the past 30 days? And very importantly, are they a member of the Digital Currency Council? Seth Maniscalco is the founder of Crypto Wealth Coach and CryptoWealthCoach.com. Seth invested in his first Roth IRA at 19 years old while living abroad and has been investing in Wall Street and technology for over 20 years. With experience in all the money markets. By comparison, so many of these so-called crypto gurus have barely been alive for 20 years. Seth has not only experienced personal success from his own investments in crypto, he has also helped his clients earn 6- and 7-figure incomes, including helping investors make over $750,000 in EOS in 90 days and 1,225% in only 5.5 months with Chainlink. Seth has help for the small do-it-yourself guy on up to crypto whales. Increase your wealth. Visit CryptoWealthCoach.com.
Since time began, tyrants have taken aim at personal liberties. Now there's a movie that aims back.
The government has no more right to tell us what to put in our bodies than they have to take our guns or tell us what books we can read.
6 drug police were eaten by bears while raiding a marijuana farm.
On your knees, you dirty hippie! Jesus. On your knees! What's the problem, officer?
Today, many cops who enforce pot laws do so only because it provides them with cushy jobs, good benefits, and a chance to push people around.
I was an undercover narcotics officer. The drug war is nothing but a farce.
The Second Amendment says you gotta keep you and your gat intact.
Guns and Weed, The Road to Freedom. A film by Michael W. Dean and Nima Vadadi.
DVD available now at gunsandweed.com or on Amazon. That's gunsandweed.com. Makes the perfect gift. Remember, that's gunsandweed.com.
Cell 411 is a free app for Android and iOS that replaces government-controlled 911. Cell 411 allows you to preset a group of friends or private organizations to show up at any emergency. Cell 411 is a nightmare for the state because it proves their so-called services aren't needed. Cell 411 has had thousands of installs, and of course it's covered by the BIPCOT no government license. Cell 411 because your friends won't shoot you when you're in trouble. Without the government, who would build the emergency services? You and Cell 411. Get it today at getcell411.com.
LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
The Shire Free Church offers a sanctuary to those seeking an escape from state churches.
The Shire Free Church is an interfaith, diverse group of people that may not share identical theological beliefs. As a member in or minister of the Shire Free Church, you are a sovereign individual and may be the faith of your choice.
We don't claim to have all of the answers.
We are open to all peaceful people.
We want to learn from each other.
What unifies the Shire Free Church and its diverse members is peace,
love,
and liberty. There are many paths to God, one for every individual.
The Shire Free Church does not define a specific path beyond those parameters that must be your foundation.
Peace as your way.
Love as your guide,
and liberty as your light.
Learn more at church.shiresociety.com.
That's church.shiresociety.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
It's Free Talk Live, and it's the live Sunday edition of the program here. Of course, you're welcome to join us. You can take control of the airwaves, bring up whatever you want. You don't have to talk about the future and automation and the fear that surrounds that whole scene, which is inevitable, although the government, of course, the government gang could get in the way. They could slow progress dramatically, at least in the United States. That they can't, thankfully, control the rest of the world. So, robotics will continue because it's unlikely that every government on the planet is going to do the same stupid crap that these politicians want to do here.
But they will put a tariff on imported robotic Chinese goods when it becomes too cheap to import into the United States.
I suspect they will.
Costing American jobs that way as well.
So Bill de Blasio, the New York mayor and Democratic candidate for president, apparently, he's got himself a proposal. He's trotted out the old claim that people are going to lose their jobs. 36 million Americans, he says, according to the Brookings Institution, are highly likely to be automated out of existence as far as their jobs are concerned. Their jobs are going to be automated out of existence, but that doesn't mean they won't be able to find work, and that's what he's suggesting. He's suggesting, well, you're going to lose your job. You couldn't possibly get another job because robots. Because you aren't as good as a robot. Isn't that kind of what he's saying there? It's like, you humans, we realize the robots are going to be more technologically superior and superior in every way. There's just no way you'll be able to compete with these robots, you silly humans.
Well, if your job is at that level, then it's possible. Yeah. If your job is to bolt on something and a robot can do the same thing.
It's worth pointing out that in as we go to this sort of post-industrial society or whatever it is that he's talking about here, this automated society, that it's going to drive down pricing.
That's right.
If it drives down pricing, then you don't need to make as much money or have as much money to do what you're going to do. To buy the things that you want to buy.
Right. It might take you from a 40-hour work week to a 20-hour work week if it's that efficient.
Also, there's a situation of, we already have a society where you basically get like free water. It's not welfare that gives out water to drink in our society. It's available at water fountains and drinking places all over. And we have these government programs that provide food and shelter for people. We already have the basics that are provided at this point, and who's to say that we can't continue to provide these basics for people who have not figured out how to save? Oh, you don't have money and you haven't figured out how to save? I'm sorry. I didn't mean to say something mean. But the reality is that every day you have the opportunity to begin a savings program.
That's true. It's never too late.
And it's the reality of these situations. You put away 10% and put it into, at this point, probably an S&P matching fund or something, and you're going to do reasonably well.
Are you suggesting that these people who lose their jobs due to automation should go on some government welfare program in the interim?
It'll probably be there.
Okay.
I'm not suggesting that they should, but it'll be there.
Well, I'll say this. A lot of times when somebody loses their job, it's upsetting. It's frustrating because a lot of people live, paycheck to paycheck or darn close to it. And that can put the squeeze on somebody financially. But I've seen it time and time again where the loss of a job leads almost inevitably to a better job or to a better opportunity or to something that, had they not lost their job, they never would have been looking for this other thing. And then they find something that pays better or is better hours or is closer to home or whatever. There's usually something better that comes out of that situation for the person who's willing to seek that thing, who's willing to be aware of the opportunities as they present themselves.
It's real easy to get stuck in a job that's comfortable for you.
Sure.
Rather than, up and doing something else. And it takes a lot to break free from that on your own and just, like setting the ships on fire basically and saying like, nope, I'm quitting my job because I need to find something better out there. and then and not having a backup plan if something goes wrong.
And I know that people can find this kind of conversation to be very triggering, if to use one of the new terms, is because we don't know what your situation's like.
Well, plus you guys are on the radio. You're not going to be replaced by a robot.
Well, why not?
You'd be surprised.
They're painting robot. Computer programs are making works of art at this point. I mean, why? And they're already writing news stories. Why wouldn't a robot come out and that can do a talk show? I mean, at this point, why not?
They basically already have it because they can take your voice sample and just type in the words or whatever.
That's true. Yeah,
or
that's true.
Have the robot make up the phrases and whatever. And
they could have Optimus Prime host a talk show because they've got the guy who does Peter Cullen, I think is his name, the voice actor for Optimus Prime, the Transformer. He has read enough. He read the series of words or whatever that you have to read in to get every potential inflection that your voice could possibly do, and they've ingested that into a computer program to where he's going to pass away at some point, but they will continue to make Optimus Prime sound just like Optimus Prime has always sounded because of that. So yeah, it could happen. It would be interesting. I mean, we do have these, like robots online that are chatbots, right? Where you can like type in. They're getting smarter. They're getting better than they ever have.
They get manipulated by the fun guys out there
on the 4chan.
The 4chan.
They have a good time.
Yeah.
But I mean, I think that a lot of people think that if you're on the radio, you're rich.
I am rich.
And you are rich, yes. But I mean,
Rush Limbaugh is pretty rich.
He is absolutely rich,
but he's also the #1 talk show host.
But I think it's worth pointing out that to move up here, I took a loan out from my mom, and that we until recently, my wife and I lived in a 700 square foot cabin. It's not like wealth. We weren't wealthy, but she did have a really good savings plan, and, you can too.
So here's the big plan from Bill de Blasio is what he's going to do if you give him the presidency. He says to start, my plan calls for a new federal agency. Because we don't have enough of those. We've got to have another one.
Yeah.
That'll give jobs to people.
Yep.
The Federal Automation and Worker Protection Agency, FAUPA.
It doesn't even a cool acronym.
To oversee automation and safeguard jobs in communities. FAUPA would create a permitting process for any company seeking to increase automation that would displace workers. Approval of those plans would be conditioned on protecting workers. If their jobs are eliminated through automation, the company would be required to offer their workers new jobs with equal pay or a severance package in line with their tenure at the company.
Are these companies going to be allowed to shut down completely? Because that would displace everybody.
Yeah, good question. Yeah, what if you close the whole company and start a new company?
Yeah, why not? as easy as filling out a new LLC certificate.
That's an interesting point, and they're going to find loopholes in this process. He says, additionally, my plan would close tax loopholes worth hundreds of billions of dollars for corporations that invest in automation and then often deduct it on their taxes. So therefore, we're going to pass all those taxes on to the customer. Because remember, no corporation actually pays any taxes. It's the customers who pay the taxes through increased product costs because they got to make up the price of the taxes. So anytime a corporation gets taxed more, get ready, you're going to pay more at the cash register. It's going to happen.
And they're insidious with it, too, because sometimes it's not just a price increase. Sometimes it's the same price, but a smaller amount of the product.
Sure.
And the boxes and the packaging get smaller and smaller. Yeah.
The incredible shrinking product. Yeah. There's a cool blog called Mouseprint. I haven't actually looked at it in a while. I don't know if it's been updated, but they look at that, and there's a name for it, and I forget what it's called, but there's a term for that where the product packaging gets smaller over time, or they try to make the package look like it's the same size, but they
shrink down the third dimension,
the depth of it or something like that, so it looks like the same on the shelf as it always has.
Well, you say awful, but they do it because they have to cover their costs somehow.
I know,
yeah,
and they don't want to
don't want to raise prices
or cause a panic in customers.
It's called Mouseprint. It's a really interesting blog because they'll take submissions from their users of here's you remember orange juice?
I remember orange juice.
Right.
Yes,
it used to come in 64 ounce. Remember 64 ounce containers of orange juice? Pretty standard carton kind of. Nope, they don't
59.
have that anymore. It's like 53, 55. Yogurts used to be 8 ounces. You can't find that anymore. They don't exist. Right. I haven't seen an 8 ounce yogurt in years. You're lucky if you can find anything above 5 ounce. Like 5.3 is, I think, your typical size. And I've seen them cut it back even further from that. I mean, it's like a little kid's scoop in a yogurt now. Like there's nothing there. Yeah. 855-450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. More about Bill de Blasio's plans to basically halt progress coming up.
Fellow Patriots, my name is Todd Savage, founder of BlackRifleRealEstate.com. Like you, I was a prisoner of the alt-left sanctuary state until one day I chose to lead my family to freedom. Today we live on a sustainable 20-acre homestead where we shoot, hunt, garden, and homeschool our children without the tyranny of the nanny state looking over us. If you're ready to flee the city to the freedom of Idaho or Montana, our Black Rifle Real Estate team is here to help. Go to BlackRifleRealEstate.com. That's BlackRifleRealEstate.com.
I'm getting older and noticing that my body just doesn't work as well as it used to, so I like to keep fit as possible by hitting the gym a few times a week. Recently, I started having a nagging bicep pain, and it got so bad I couldn't even lift the weights. When I was complaining about it to a friend, he told me about Angioprim. He said chelation helps remove toxins, heavy metals, and cholesterol in veins and arteries that may cause blockages. You know, after just 1 week of taking Angioprim, the pain was gone, and now I'm back in the gym full strength. Scientific research proves the active ingredient in Angioprim has superior oral chelation action that helps promote cardiovascular health. So to learn more, go to angioprim.com. That's ANGIOPRIM.com, or talk to a trained consultant. Call Angioprim toll free at 877-882-7221. You'll feel better with more energy. Call 877-882-7221 or go to the website angioprim.com.
With more people listening to radio than visit Google, Facebook, or YouTube, from the very young to the very old, everyone listens to radio. Pillow companies, alarm, identity theft, nutrition, insurance, banking, automotive. The list goes on and on. Billion-dollar businesses. Why? The answer is radio. The media everyone tunes into. Find out how effective and affordable radio can be for your business. Contact 877-996-4327 or advertise at gcnlive.com.
Don't you hate that feeling in the pit of your stomach when the police pull you over? Most people have no idea how to handle it properly, and they promptly get fed into the municipal fee-generating meat grinder. Or maybe you recall that feeling you get when you go to the mailbox and see one or more letters from the IRS. You get a sense of impending doom, don't you? So let me ask you, if you could learn how to use the law to beat the IRS, traffic tickets, almost any courtroom scenario, collectors, credit card debt, and even mortgage debt because of fraud perpetrated against you, would that be worth knowing about? Don't laugh. Investigate. Check out the life-changing benefits of the Lighthouse Law Club at their website, lighthouselaw.club. That's lighthouselaw.club. And while you're at it, visit the Lighthouse Law Club YouTube channel. You might be in for a pleasant surprise.
The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it. Are you a cryptocurrency advocate? The Crypto Tip is the ideal outreach tool to help new people discover cryptocurrency. It's a printable business card-sized tip that you can give to service providers, preferably in addition to a good cash tip. When the server scans the QR code, it'll bring up an explanation of cryptocurrency, how to install a wallet, and allow them to claim the tip. If they don't claim the crypto, you get your tip refunded to you after a time period you specify. Plus, if they do claim the tip, you get an email alert. Create as many tips as you want at cryptotip.org. That's cryptotip.org.
You can sign up to receive the latest about the Liberty Radio Network via our email updates at updates.lrn.fm. That's updates.lrn.fm.
It is Free Talk Live, and you are invited, if you want to join us here, to take control of the airwaves. We're talking about the future of automation and how some of these government politicians, thugs, want to stand in the way of that in order to get your vote so they can get some power. Bill de Blasio, who doesn't have enough power apparently as the New York mayor, would like to be the president of the United States, and he is now planning, or he's announced that he will create a new federal agency, which of course he would need Congress to do, but I'm sure there's plenty of fearmongers there who would back him up on this, to create the Federal Automation and Worker Protection Agency, aka FAUPA. I'll tell you more about that coming up here with you tonight. By the way, it's Ian,
Richie Rich,
and Mark.
And if you are an individual who rejects the initiation of force and agrees to abide by the ethics of the non-aggression principle, you ought to head down to liberty.menu, and you can list the things that you do on this website for Liberty people that could list your business. Maybe you've got an event that you are involved in creating and promoting, or perhaps you're a digital content creator and you want other people to know about what it is that you've made or the things that you do. You can just list yourself, and you can do more than one listing for free, by the way, over at liberty.menu. It only costs you the moment of time that it takes to fill out the form, and then you'll be up there on the list, on the map at liberty.menu. And again, it is completely free. You can use code FTL if you want to get a special Free Talk Live listener badge at liberty.menu. As we continue, hear more from Bill de Blasio's article that he wrote for Wired magazine, talking about how he wants to make it so this FAUPA, the Federal Automation Worker Protection Agency, will stand in the way of any company that would like to automate any of their business
and issue, what is it, permission, licenses?
Yeah,
correct. So
the license is them taking your right away and then selling it back to you.
Right. You want to, add a robot to your workplace? Well, you're going to need to go.
You're going to have to go through the FUPA Commission.
Right. You got to get them to approve your plan, and they're only going to approve it as long as you take the person's job who is going to be eliminated by the robot and give them a new position, or give them a severance package, he says, quote, in line with their tenure at the company. Now, I don't know what that means. I don't know if that means if you've been there a year, you got to give them a year's worth or a week's worth. I have no idea.
Most companies have an internal scale
on
how severances get paid out.
Additionally, he says, my plan would close tax loopholes worth hundreds of billions of dollars for corporations that invest in automation, then often deduct it on their taxes. He says, lastly, my proposal would institute a robot tax on large companies that eliminate jobs through increased automation and fail to provide adequate replacement jobs. They'd be required to pay 5 years of payroll taxes up front for each employee eliminated. See, that'll give money to the government, and that'll help everybody.
Right. I think that one of the best examples of this is when the local government in my town finds out that your dog has gotten out and killed the neighbor's chicken. They fine you $500 for the dog.
They buy him a chicken, though, right?
No. The neighbor's got a dead chicken. You've got a $500 fine, and the town has $500.
Yep.
Cha-ching.
Ding, ding.
I mean, this is just how it goes. Like, this is exactly what he's talking about.
Well, don't worry. He's going to take that money that the payroll taxes, again, the 5 years worth, will have to be paid for each employee. And he says that revenue would go right into a new generation of labor-intensive, high employment infrastructure projects and new jobs in areas such as healthcare and green energy that would provide new employment. The government's going to just take in all that money from private industry and just make a bunch of make-work jobs for people.
So if that's the plan, why not just invest in all those new technologies and green energies now and start employing those people and getting them trained now on his own dime?
Well, he is rich, right?
Right. I mean,
de
he should
Blasio?
be. Yeah.
He can prove the idea.
If he thinks that that's where the future is going, right? Get into that now and start doing it.
He says displaced workers would be guaranteed new jobs created in these fields at comparable salaries. This tax and the jobs in the 21st century fields that it creates would drastically change what the next economy will look like for working people.
Don't forget, if this guy creates some bureaucracy that retrains employees for new jobs, that don't we have this called colleges, technical centers, these sorts of things that, I don't know, teach you how to do things so that you can go get a job. I mean, that's all he's talking about here. And we already have it. We don't need the government to do it. But, I mean,
well, that's what he's saying. He says we need the government to make new jobs for people.
Well, The government has been remarkably bad at making jobs. It made a job for Bill de Blasio, and now look what he's doing.
He says it'll have two fundamental effects.
Bill de Blasio saw a cicada sitting in a tree screaming, and he's like, why can't I do that for a living?
He said it will guarantee that American workers have a shield against unemployment. First, my plan would ensure stability for the workers who have the jobs of today. Secondly, by taking the revenues created by closing the automation loophole and the robot tax and investing them in new programs, it would facilitate the next generation of jobs, good-paying union jobs in green energy, early childhood education, home health care, and the like.
Union jobs will likely just drive the manufacturing out of the United States into some place that doesn't require the union.
They've been doing that for a long time.
Is Bill de Blasio going to make sure China gets union jobs and Bangladesh? Is that what Bill de Blasio is going to do, or is he just going to make sure that we outsource all the jobs from the United States out?
For generations, Americans went to work confident that not just they had the security of a good-paying job with union benefits, but that they'd have that security for years to come. Those of them still in the workforce, as well as Generation X and Millennials, deserve that same peace of mind.
I don't know. Like I hear that from like the older generation crowd, and then I wonder how good that actually was, because I've never experienced that.
The working the same job your whole lifetime kind of thing?
Like, decade upon decade of the exact same thing repetitively. Like has never appealed to me, and I don't know if that appeals to the current generation either.
Yeah, I don't know.
I really don't think so.
That's a good question. And by the way, I mean, not everybody had a union job back in the day.
Yeah.
So, yeah, it's certainly true that the union shields their members, rightly or wrongly, from being terminated. And that's not a good thing when it comes to, if this employee sucks, they need to be gotten rid of. The union stands in the way of that. But for those people that didn't have a union job, they never had a peace of mind. If you feel like you have a peace of mind at your job, you need to forget about that, because tomorrow that business could go under, or tomorrow that business could decide that they don't need your services anymore, and then you don't have a job anymore with that company.
Yep, I've been through that a number of times.
Right.
I worked.
It's not because you're a bad worker.
No, it wasn't. Like literally, we got the owner didn't pay the rent. I was working at a salad restaurant back in Hawaii, and the owner didn't pay the rent. So I got a call from the general manager of the restaurant while I was at my other job to tell me not to come into work. I went, well, what's going on? They went, we've been evicted.
It's over.
And that was it.
Yep.
We had
you're lucky if you get another check.
That was the thing. So the owner had another facility, had another restaurant. So I said, well, I'm getting paid one way or the other.
You went down there to confront him?
I was going to. I did not, because the general manager said, hold on, I will work this out on your behalf. And I said, do it quickly.
So he coughed up the check?
We all got checks from the owner.
Okay.
Like the owner had enough to pay out the final paychecks.
Wow.
And then we immediately went to the bank to cash it. Like it wasn't
a good idea.
There was no depositing it into my bank account. We went to the issuing bank, gave them the thumbprint, got the cash, and that was
smart move.
Right.
Yeah. But it was overnight. You just,
De Blasio here is talking about union jobs, and almost all union jobs these days are government jobs. So De Blasio is probably just talking about making them into government employees. But let's not forget that it's the government employees right now that are worried about their pensions in places, leftist paradises, like Chicago.
Yeah, but this
California.
is federal, so don't worry. They'll print the money.
Oh, when they do the government shutdowns as well.
The United States government is $22 trillion in debt. Do you want a pension from that organization?
What's another $22 trillion? Just tack it on.
I think
government
debt
employees should have to pay that back
every day of the life of the oldest citizen in America.
To deal with this looming threat, some tech leaders in Silicon Valley and my fellow 2020 candidate Andrew Yang have proposed providing every American with a universal basic income of $12,000 a year. While this idea could be part of a broader solution, as a standalone proposal, it's woefully inadequate and has the potential to do more harm than good. He claims that, at best, UBI overlooks the intrinsic value of a job, believing the financial life support of a monthly check can substitute for meaningful employment. And I don't disagree necessarily with that perspective. He says at worst, it's a sleight of hand trick telling Americans that automation will create a better future for all, while it instead locks middle-class families into unemployment and ensures the profits created by new technological advancement flow only to the wealthy.
See, and again, only temporarily, right? At some point, you go like, I have to get a new skill, I have to get a new job, I have to move on with my life. If you value that sort of thing, and then you do. and then everything's cheaper because of the automation that took your old job.
Let's continue. That statement from de Blasio deserves a little bit more attention. We'll get to that. Your calls and thoughts are welcome. On the future of employment in America and worldwide, you can join us at 855-450 free like freedom.
Anarchadelphia is a conference dedicated to the principles of liberty, individual sovereignty, and freedom from coercion, located in Philadelphia, the cradle of liberty. Anarchadelphia seeks to shed light on issues such as geopolitics, blockchain economics, spiritual health and wellness, as well as exposing the Earth's sacred hidden knowledge, featuring Mark Passio, Max Egan, Derek Brose, Jeff Berwick, and many more this September 13th through 15th. For info and tickets, visit anarchadelphia.com.
I am giving away $100 in Bitcoin Cash on September 2, 2019. And I'm not giving it away because I like giving away money, quite the contrary. It's because I need a favor. Please go to demo.freetalklive.com and fill out the survey there as thoroughly as you like. There's an optional email slot, and if you put your email in there, you will forever be signed up for whatever prize I'm giving to incentivize people that month to fill out my form. Advertisers need this info on our listeners, so fill it out as truthfully as you can, please. Demo.freetalklive.com.
Should you be able to earn an honest living free from senseless government interference? The Institute for Justice thinks so. That's why we've spent years defending hard-working men and women from pointless government regulations. Nationwide, IJ has created opportunity by reducing government power, but there is still more work to be done. Visit our website today at ij.org. Let IJ take care of the government so you can take care of your business.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 2 is next, after the news, here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,518, silver at $18.67, and Bitcoin is trading around $10,581. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, in the state of California, up until this week, citizens who were able-bodied persons 18 years of age or older would be charged with a crime if a police officer asked them for help and they refused. All of that has since changed, as Governor Gavin Newsom has signed a bill that no longer requires or forces citizens to help police officers. The law was still on the books from the days of the Wild West. The California Posse Comitatus Act of 1872 made it a crime punishable by up to a $1,000 fine for refusing to respond to a police officer's call for assistance during an arrest. The Free Thought Project reports that it took until 2019 to change the bill that essentially turned citizens into indentured servants of police officers. Such bills were originally drafted as a means to garner help for cops who were attempting to catch fugitive slaves. As the Sacramento Bee points out, Posse Comitatus derives from medieval English common law, but saw widespread use in America's early days, including as a tool of enforcement for the Fugitive Slave Act. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. As YouTube, Google, and Twitter crack down on peaceful channels, censor alternative media, and allow child exploitation videos to flourish, the Federal Trade Commission has slapped the tech giant with a $170 million fine and other sanctions for unscrupulously and illegally tracking children. The Free Thought Project reports that the fine was the result of a lawsuit against the company for violating the rights of children under 13 years of age by tracking them online without their parents' consent. Political reports that under a consent decree, YouTube will require users to self-identify whether videos they upload are meant for children, obtain parental consent before collecting personal information about kids, and provide its employees with annual training on how to comply with the children's privacy law. For the last 5 years, a serial rapist has terrorized the state of Georgia. At least 8 different cases of rape and sexual battery have been tied to 24-year-old Kenneth Bowen III. But until now, he has avoided getting caught. But all that changed when the very department who was investigating his case caught him after he began the process of becoming a cop. Clayton County Police Chief Kevin Roberts, during a news conference held last week, said, quote, "Had he not attempted to join ranks in the Clayton County Police Department, it is questionable as to when we would have apprehended him." When looking through police employee records, investigators found details that link Bowen to the cases. A search warrant to obtain Bowen's DNA was obtained last week, which linked him to at least 8 different attacks on women. After he was arrested, Bowen was charged with 7 counts of rape and 1 count of sexual battery. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
This is the Onion Week in Review, pushed to the breaking point after constantly being taken to task without ever hearing a word of thanks for what it does around here. An overwhelmed and infuriated nation announced Wednesday that it was trying, okay? Jesus Christ. A poll of the American populace revealed that 33% felt they were doing pretty damn well, all things considered, while another 28% just wanted 2 measly minutes without somebody breathing down their damn neck. A group of female friends spent a raucous night on the town Thursday, validating the living shit out of each other.
You're the most talented person I know.
Eyewitness reports say the women absolutely went to town on a session of non-judgmental reassurances.
Last night was crazy. I don't even remember half the uplifting things I said to Karen. We've always been the kind of group that listens hard and consoles even harder.
And in other news, a group of semester at sea students steal an anchor for their dorm room. A 5-year-old wants to be an overworked Haitian nanny when he grows up. And every group of friends at a karaoke bar ruins every other group's night.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can dial toll-free to join us on the radio. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. The, AIER, the American Institute for Economic Research, is calling this proposal by Bill de Blasio, who is a Democratic presidential candidate, quote, the worst regulation ever proposed.
Salacious.
And that is the story that you brought in, Richie, to comment on the story we've been commenting on, which is the opinion piece written by de Blasio over at Wired magazine, where he says that if he's elected president, he'll create a new federal agency called the Federal Automation Worker Protection Agency, a.k.a. FAUPA, and that they will basically get in the way of any kind of automation progress and demand not only increased taxes from those companies, but also basically say, whoa, you can't do anything new. You can't bring any new automation equipment in here. You can't bring a new robot in until you do A or B, which is to say you either give the people who you're replacing new jobs, so no cost cut whatsoever, or you give them a severance package that is some, which would be a federally approved thing.
Long-term cost cut. It almost seems to me like the penalty is designed to be so onerous that no one bothers to attempt it.
To upgrade, you mean? To
upgrade
put something? Yeah, that's like what he wants to do.
You can upgrade, but
it'll cost you.
It costs so much that no one will do it.
Right, because normally it does cost a lot in advance because robotic technology is still pretty new.
Yeah.
You're going to pay a lot of money for that robot burger flipper. If you're the first company to put the robot burger flipper into place, you're going to pay the highest price.
Yeah.
And until it can be developed and, costs can be lowered.
But you don't have to worry. You don't have to worry about whether Kyle's going to show up for work or
That's true. Or complain about it or spit in the food or do something worse.
Or punch a hole in the wall. That's what Kyle does.
Yeah.
Punches. He's upset
Only
about
in the drywall.
Bam! Right in the whole drywall.
Exactly. So that's one of the things he was proposing. Then he also wants a tax on companies that eliminate jobs through increased automation. So even after you've gotten through the regulation process from FAUPA, if you then do replace a job, even though you've created another job, they're going to hit you with a tax that's going to make it even more burdensome. He says 5 years of payroll taxes up front for each employee eliminated, and then goes on to claim that he's going to give those employees federal union jobs so they can be taken care of.
And they'll pay payroll taxes on top of that as well.
They sure will. He goes on with just a little bit more here from the article in Wired. He says, my plan wouldn't... and then he actually attacks UBI. So he goes after some of the other Democratic candidates.
That was surprising because that's the other solution for technological advancements is, well, you're going to lose your job, so here's a check for universal basic income to get you through.
And I don't support UBI myself. I don't, because it's basically just a big welfare check for people. And I do agree with de Blasio that it is not a substitute for, actually working. That it will certainly discourage people from working in that case.
I've seen proposals to do a UBI for your own personal benefit or company's benefit or whatever. And for those, I'd support it. If you feel like you're going to further your organization by giving out a UBI, then do that.
Wait, you're saying a private company would be giving you a UBI?
That kind of thing.
Huh.
Cryptos that create currency and give it to the poor, that kind of thing.
If it's done voluntarily, I got no problem with it. But
I still don't think it would work. Even if done voluntarily.
So far, the tests have not worked. Yeah. There have been some small-scale tests of UBI, and they've not. They've been abandoned, actually, before the testing period was supposed to be done. He goes on, he says, my plan wouldn't accept a post-work future. Instead, it would hasten a work-filled future, one where we use technological advancement to bridge the gap between our current workforce at risk of being made redundant by automation and the resilient union workforce we need.
Unions with stone hammers. Pounding out the future.
Spoons to dig the ditches, because then you need a whole bunch of more workers.
Right, the shovel is just far too large.
Too efficient. A robot tax will help us create stable, good-paying, middle-class jobs for generations to come. Last week, I visited the Port of Los Angeles, the site of one of the newest battles over workplace automation. Thousands of members of the International Longshore and Warehouse Union took to the streets this spring to protest a plan to replace their jobs with gigantic, automated, remote-controlled container-moving vehicles. Their story shows the power that a united group of working people has, but it also shows the limits of how far even they can go without the help of the government. The company and port officials have ignored their pleas so far. Well, wait a minute. Isn't the port the government? Like, aren't ports normally government operations, or am I wrong about that? Going on, he says, and hundreds of jobs may now be lost. Workers like the longshoremen and the American communities that depend on them need the government to be on their side if they're going to survive the onslaught of automation. That means creating an automation policy that puts workers, not corporations, first.
It would seem like protesting automation is a bad idea, because that's just more evidence to the company of
that
why
you
they
need to be cut.
Yeah. See, the robot's not going to throw a fit and not work for 5 days, right? It's just going to do its thing.
It's going to show up, and somebody's got to come in and oil the thing every now and then. But that's about it.
How about you show that you're of value to the organization in some other way, and then get transitioned into a better job by being of value to the organization, as opposed to throwing a fit.
people people attempt to apply to Free Talk Live all the time because everybody wants to be a talk show host and make money being a talk show host. What they don't understand is Ian and I make no money being talk show hosts.
There's not a whole lot of money in talk shows.
No. We make money because there's an organization that, puts together some advertising and those sorts of things. But being a talk show host, no, there's no pay.
That's true.
There is no line item that is Ian's pay for being a talk show host.
That's true.
None of that. And, it's like, well, come on in. Be part of the Free Talk Live organization. Create value.
To be fair, this is the highlight of my week. I'll be honest with you. I wanted to do it.
I don't know if that's sad
Excellent.
or a
Your pay's
compliment.
cut in half.
No, it's a compliment. It's totally a compliment.
So much for your
Thank
stipend.
you. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. But yeah, we've been much more successful with cryptocurrency over the years than broadcast radio. But it's not for me. I don't do this for the money. I do this because it's important. I do it because getting the word out about freedom is important to me. And even if there were no advertising dollars coming in, I'd still do it. In fact, we did the show for years when there were no advertising dollars coming in. That was the first 5 years of Free Talk Live. We didn't have a single. It wasn't even worth trying to sell the show back then. So. Let's get to some of the commentary. Now, you don't have to read the whole piece here, but I thought it was important to, share de Blasio's pitch. And if you're out there listening to this and this sounds good to you and you're excited about this, you think that you need the government to protect your job, I really want to hear from you tonight. If you want to jump on the phones, you can. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE. Are you that uncertain of your own abilities to go out and change your thing that you do, to go and learn a new skill, to go and find a new opportunity, to create a new opportunity? Are you that uncertain that you have to turn to the government goons in order to protect yourself?
Yeah, it's...
Because that's what he's saying.
Yeah, well, he's got Marxism with robots is what he's got. This sort of song and dance has a lot of gravitas right now.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of people are believing this is that, wow, in the time of some of the greatest employment in my lifetime, we need to get prepared for when the jobs will not be here. What? What evidence is there won't be jobs?
Are you guys familiar with the term fully automated luxury communism?
No.
That sounds right, though.
It's basically like the post-scarcity world that the commies online dream of,
yes.
Where everything is
Venus
automated.
Project.
It's a Venus project.
Sure. And you don't have to do anything.
Right. You can just make art all day or have sex or whatever. Play
Whatever
video
you
games.
want to do.
Right.
Because the robots have taken over all the important stuff.
Yeah.
And you're good. So would they support this?
Of course they would.
Well, how could they? Because this is a job
it
creation.
stands in the way of the robots.
It stands in the way of the robots.
Ooh, interesting. So there may be a division between the lefties on this.
I don't know.
Yeah, you may see a schism over, like the futuristic robot Marxist lefties, the Venus Project people that you're describing here, are going to be against de Blasio's
They should
plan.
be.
The toll-free number here, and if he's going against the UBI, then the Andrew Yang people will be against it, because I think the Andrew Yang supporters would be more likely to be that group that you're talking about. 855-450-FREE. If you want to weigh in, you're welcome to join us, and we'll talk about why this is one of the worst proposals ever. It's Free Talk Live. I want to tell you about my favorite cryptocurrency wallet, Edge Wallet, at edge.app. Edge is the wallet I use more than any other, and that was true long before Edge Wallet became a sponsor of Free Talk Live. Edge Wallet allows you to buy, sell, trade, and securely hold your cryptocurrencies, including Bitcoin, Ethereum, tokens, Monero, Ripple, Dash, Bitcoin Cash, and more. It's available for both Android and iOS, and you can download it via the Play or App Store or via Edge Wallet's website, edge.app. Secure your freedom with Edge Wallet.
Are you locked into a crappy schedule where you're forced to report to work or even to a relationship where you're not allowed to do the things you want to do? That sucks. Wouldn't you prefer to live a more free life? There's another way to live. I'm Caleb Jones, and my staff and I have taught hundreds of thousands of men how to create low-work, high-income, location-independent businesses and how to date women under your terms. Go to freelifeinfo.com to download 7 free books and podcasts so you can live a life like this too.
Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
I am giving away $100 in Bitcoin Cash on September 2, 2019. And I'm not giving it away because I like giving away money. Quite the contrary. It's because I need a favor. Please go to demo.freetalklive.com and fill out the survey there as thoroughly as you like. There's an optional email slot, and if you put your email in there, you will forever be signed up for whatever prize I'm giving to incentivize people that month to fill out my form. Advertisers need this info on our listeners, so fill it out as truthfully as you can, please. Demo.freetalklive.com.
Why did you move to the Shire?
I moved here to the Shire because there's other people around who take liberty just as seriously as I do.
I moved to the Shire because I saw videos of people challenging authority and thought that I could get support myself. It called to me, like, do this, right now.
I wanted to be around people like me who got it, and once I got here, I knew there was nowhere else that I wanted to be.
I've always wanted to change the world, so I moved to the Shire to join people who were actually working towards doing the same thing.
The people here are awesome, loving, and positive. It was for the adventure and for the feeling of something important is happening here, and I just wanted to come to sort of be part of that.
Visit ShireSociety.com to read and sign the Shire Society Declaration and learn the reasons why, if you love liberty, you should immigrate to the Shire. Plus, connect with others via the forum at ShireSociety.com. That's ShireSociety.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. Bitcoin.com has launched a trading platform at local.bitcoin.com, allowing you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash via dozens of payment methods like PayPal, Venmo, bank deposit, remittances, or meeting in person with cash. There are no ID requirements to sign up for and use the site, and all communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. Finally, a global trading platform that respects your privacy. Visit local.bitcoin.com to get started trading Bitcoin Cash. local.bitcoin.com.
What's up next? Visit the Liberty Radio Network program guide to find out at shows.lrn.fm. That's shows.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live, and you can bring up whatever you want here. Our toll-free number is 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. We have the Discord on-air call-in line rooms over at discord.lrn.fm, and that's where you can join us and sound almost like you're sitting in the studio with us. It is a live Sunday show. With you tonight, it's Ian.
Richie Rich.
And Mark.
And also want to make sure you know about local.bitcoin.com. That is the newish site. I think it's entering its third month here, maybe fourth month. It's not been around very long. It started a few months ago. And it allows you to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash without any pesky identification requirements to sign up for the site. The people running local.bitcoin.com, they don't care who you are. They don't need to ask because they're not holding your Bitcoin Cash for you. Like on the other sites that do this, like the bigger sites that have been around for a little while longer, they demand ID from you now. There's no way to get away with like that other big site. They require identification from all their sellers, and it's not cool. And local.bitcoin.com is avoiding that, which is awesome. So get on over to local.bitcoin.com. There's, again, dozens of payment methods that you can use to buy or sell Bitcoin Cash there. And it's private. And also communications between buyers and sellers are encrypted. So the administrators of the website cannot read your conversations unless you specifically authorize them to do so. So, like, let's say you needed to dispute a transaction with, somebody's trying to scam you or whatever. You need to bring in an arbitrator. Well, you can give permission to the arbitrator to see it. But that's it. So man, it's up to you to do that. Local.bitcoin.com.
I was watching the Bitcoin.com's YouTube channel today.
Oh, yeah.
And have you been to giftcards.bitcoin.com recently?
Not recently, but I have been there.
It is full of places that you can spend Bitcoin Cash to get gift cards.
That's so cool.
It's amazing. It just keeps going and going. There's so many options here. Just look under, and it's broken out into categories, restaurants. It just keeps going and going.
Let's go to your phone calls and thoughts. We've been talking about the future, robots, automation. This Bill de Blasio guy who's from New York wants to be the president. He's saying he's going to create a whole new government bureaucracy to stand in the way of progress. And I'm wondering how you feel about it. Let's go to Lida in Charleston, listening to WTMA in South Carolina.
You said my name right.
Hi.
Thank you very
Lida.
much.
Yeah, you're welcome.
How are you?
Good. Go ahead with your thoughts.
I got a few things I wanted to share about the robots. Just to go back into history, you remember the old switchboards and phones?
I know they existed, yes, with like an operator sitting there plugging in and unplugging wires. Yeah.
My mother was
They
one.
were replaced eventually. They were eventually replaced by new technology. And then eventually they lost their jobs, and nobody does that anymore. They had answering machines. Answering machines took their place. That worked out really well. Now we have phones, and you can get messages on your phone, and it did eliminate other jobs. And I don't like
right, like the old telegram guy that would sit there and transmit your messages across the wires. They lost all their jobs.
Yeah, the operators just didn't have a strong enough union.
That's what it was. It the union?
He's joking.
I'm sure.
That's crazy. What about the milkmen who used to deliver milk? That doesn't happen anymore either. Those jobs are all replaced. We go to the store now, we buy milk. It may not even be milk. It could be soy milk. Anyway, my point is I don't think it's a great idea.
What do you mean? What's not a great idea? Specifically, what do you mean?
Having robots take people's jobs, but unfortunately it's going to happen. And I do believe we should be compensated, but I don't know how that system's going to be the government.
So you would have preferred operators and milkmen still operating like their services today?
People lost jobs. People having income instead of it being substituted.
But those people got other jobs.
Right. Exactly. Then the thing is, if they can get another job, like be trained, like you were saying, and we go to the public high school, not the public high school.
But do you think you could do a milkman's job?
It's not me.
No, but I'm saying, do you think you could? Because I feel like I could. I don't feel like I need training.
I could.
Walk up, wander up to a door, drop some milk off. It doesn't sound difficult.
You got to collect, too.
No.
Well, but that milkman now has to get trained to do something more advanced.
What kind of training are we talking about here? Be an Uber driver?
Well,
use a turn signal. Tick, 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 tick. I mean,
well, they're going to eliminate those jobs too.
Fine.
Uber wants to make a completely automated source.
Car?
But now, wait a minute, Lida. I guess I'm confused. I mean, you're saying it sounds like on one hand you understand that these jobs have to go away because progress is being made, but you feel bad about progress?
Yeah, I hate to say it. I am divided. I'm divided because on the one hand, it does serve. Like, for example, we have surgery now that's a laser and it's machine. Now, that's not perfect. I wouldn't want to be operated on a machine with laser. On the other hand, it saves lives, so that's a good thing. Then there's the other part that's not where you're totally replaced by a machine, automated. So I'm kind of it's a give-take, I don't know, but not to let a person be left out in the cold and have nothing unless you give them training. You know what I mean? Money's not going to. You got to train them.
Well, who's responsible for that training then? That's the other question.
That's a great question. I can't. I don't think the government. I don't know.
It's the business that wants to hire is responsible for training,
or the individual who wants to learn a new skill so he can add value to the organization.
I think it's important to point out that every one of those jobs that disappeared, whether it be the blacksmiths or whether it be the milkman or whether it be the the operator. They were all of those people found other work if that's what they wanted to do. If they wanted to go out and find other work. In fact, the population has increased since that time, and there are still jobs available. So there's still, I can walk down Main Street here in Keene, New Hampshire, and find half a dozen jobs within, probably 20 or 30 minutes, just walking down Main Street.
What we need is more robots to do those jobs.
Well, you know what else, too? You had a key word there, if that's what they want to do. There's still the other system, the one I'm talking about, when you're paid to sit on your couch and supposedly, quote unquote.
Lida, I don't know if you're on like a speakerphone or something, but it's getting kind of hard to understand you.
Oh, was it bad before, or is it worse now?
It's better now that
Probably.
when you're saying that, it sounds better.
It's less muffled.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I must be in a bad. Yeah. Is that better?
You're better now. Go ahead with what? Can you just
Okay,
kind of
cool.
rewind for
Yeah,
just a
what my
moment? What
thing-
were you just saying?
Yeah. I was saying that basically, it's that you had a key there. That you said if that's what you want to do. In other words, if you're outsourced for a job or a robot or something replaces you, and you're giving the opportunity either through the company to get a better job, they'll train you for the next position, or you choose not to and you want to train yourself. There's the other contingent where you don't have to do a thing. You get paid by the government, quote unquote, to sit around and do nothing.
Well, nobody wants that, right? Like, you don't support that, having the government pay people to sit around. Okay, good. Well, we can agree. We can agree on that. Light, I'm going to let you go. Thanks for the call tonight. I appreciate hearing from you. The toll-free number is 855-450-FREE, like freedom.
About doing a job you love. As much of a great idea as it is and how wonderful it sounds, I mean, I'm a talk show host. I do a job I love. I'm certainly not going to complain about that. But I'm willing to acknowledge that my father shoveled coal and, was a mold maker for Tropicana for decades in order to get me to where I was. That people have built this country, most of them did jobs they did not love.
Yep.
And very difficult work. And they spent all their, days doing it. And that, sometimes work's just work.
Mm-hmm. Do you think
Sometimes
that's
it
what
stinks.
propagates the idea, the mentality that you're not supposed to enjoy your job? Because so many generations just did work for work's sake?
I don't know. I think you should enjoy your job because it's better to enjoy things you're doing than not enjoy them. But sometimes the thing, when you look at it, sort of step back and take that panoramic look of your life, sometimes, you do to get money things that you would not otherwise do.
All right, 855-450-FREE. If you want to comment, we got plenty of room for your calls and thoughts here on Free Talk Live.
You love Bitcoin. It's the future, right? Well, no, not if everyone stops using it. I mean, think about it. How many places in your town take Bitcoin? One? None? Let's be real. If this Bitcoin thing is ever going to happen, it's going to need your help. The good news is the guys at AnyPay have your back. We built a website called helpmetakebitcoin.com, and it's a place you can send any business, and they'll be set up to take Bitcoin in 5 minutes. helpmetakebitcoin.com.
Anarchadelphia is a conference dedicated to the principles of liberty, individual sovereignty, and freedom from coercion, located in Philadelphia, the cradle of liberty. Anarchadelphia seeks to shed light on issues such as geopolitics, blockchain economics, spiritual health and wellness, as well as exposing the Earth's sacred hidden knowledge, featuring Mark Passio, Max Egan, Derek Brose, Jeff Berwick, and many more this September 13th through 15th. For info and tickets, visit anarchadelphia.com.
So the protection of life, liberty, and property is what the Free State Project is all about. But it's an effort to move 20,000 people who understand.
It's about demonstrating to the entire country
that, yeah, we can have a free market, a truly free market. Making it just a freer, great place to live.
It's the world's largest voluntarist libertarian community, and it's only getting bigger.
That's amazing. To be able to move to a place where other people passionately believe in being free and independent.
What the Free State Project is managing to do, though, is to put their money where their mouth is. It's physically getting up across the country and saying, let's go someplace and let's demonstrate the power of these ideas. There's a lot of kind of philosophy that surrounds liberty. There's a lot of thinking about it and talking about it. But here in New Hampshire, people are doing it.
101 Reasons Liberty Lives in New Hampshire, a documentary by Free State Project Early Movers. Watch it free at 101reasonsfilm.com. 101reasonsfilm.com.
I'm crazy about My Magic Mud. This is the most important oral care product created this millennium, and I'm not kidding. We all have different opinions on politics and issues, but we all have mouths. And I want yours to be as clean as possible, with teeth as bright as they were meant to be. I will never be without My Magic Mud. It's a little surprising, but man, does it work. If you only listen to one thing I say ever, go to mymagicmud.com and get 20% off with code FTL. mymagicmud.com, code FTL.
If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
Are you making sense to the boomer mindset? I'm Holland Cook from survivalspeech.com. 80 million baby boomers comprise 25% of the population and control most of the USA's wealth. As aging parents pass on, they'll control more. Boomers are 46 to 65 years old and regard themselves as midlife. They identify as neither young nor old. They're post-minivan and pre-retirement, and they don't like being called boomers. They think me. Many of the purchases boomer couples make are individual purposes. They've been experimenters all their lives. If you want their attention, tell stories and keep it simple. If something seems complicated, boomers can dismiss it as, I don't need this. And if you're looking for work, you may be applying to a boomer, so relate accordingly. From survivalspeech.com, I'm Holland Cook.
Join the LRN.FM Discord for live chat 24/7 at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live, the live Sunday edition of the program. You may contact us to talk about whatever's on your mind, although people want to talk about the future of robots and automation and jobs. There's a lot of fear-mongering being thrown around out there by politicians especially, and of course, activist organizations who want to benefit financially from, scaring people. Because when you scare somebody, they're more willing to part with their money to try to prevent the future that they believe is coming. And with you tonight, it's Ian,
Rich,
and Mark.
So I want to let you know about Balance of Nature. Mark, you've been taking the Balance of Nature for how long now?
Few weeks.
Okay.
And
I'm only on like a few days.
Yeah, what I think is interesting about it is these fruit and veggie pills that they have, tablets, capsules that they have. If you take 3 of the Balance of Nature fruit capsules and 3 of their veggie capsules, you get 10 servings of fruits and vegetables. And that's a lot of nutrition. This is food. It's not like you can overdose on this stuff. You could take the whole bottle. It's just food. I'm not recommending taking the whole bottle. But
expensive.
There's some days that you can't get that kind of nutrition that you need to get, and it's a good idea to get it in some manner or another. And people are reporting all kinds of benefits from taking the product here. You can go online and become a preferred customer, which gives you the best pricing and free shipping after your 3rd month. Balance of Nature will ship it to you at no charge, an additional set of fruit and veggies. So if you're on for 3 months, they'll give you some free fruits and veggies. So this is a limited time offer. Don't wait. Go to balanceofnature.com. Use the discount code FTL. That's balanceofnature.com, coupon code FTL. Our coworker, I don't know what to call him, Riley Blake, the guy who produces the digest for Free Talk Live, he works at the company. That's how we kind of got hooked up with them. And they are big radio advertisers, there's no doubt. And it's a busy place that employs a lot of people, which leads me to presume that, A, they've been around for quite some time, and B, they're going to be around for quite a bit more time. And they're very successful because a lot of people are taking it and enjoying it. Free Talk Live, it's balanceofnature.com, coupon code FTL.
All right, let's continue with your calls and thoughts, and we'll get into, I forget which institute it was, but there's an article that sort of responds to de Blasio's propaganda piece, essentially saying that we need the government to protect us from robots and that future. Let's go to Robert. He's in Charleston, South Carolina, listening to WTMA. Hello, Robert.
Hello, sir. How are you?
Hey, good. What's on your mind?
Well, I just wanted to let you know that, the lady who was just on was quite right about that. And the future is coming, and there's nothing that you or anybody else can do, or us or anybody else can do to stop it. I've seen the future. I lived in Germany. I was a member of the Bundesverband der Deutschen Übersetzerverband Sachsen.
The what?
That was the German Translated Association Saxony chapter, and I conducted tours for people coming in from all over the world to visit Germany to see the newest technologies. And one of the places we visited frequently was the Volkswagen Werk in Zwickau, which is the Volkswagen factory in Zwickau. At that time, it was the most advanced factory in the world, and you could see how very, very, very few people worked there. It was unbelievable. They had little red ropes that hung down, and nobody around to pull them, really. I don't know how they knew about, if something was wrong, because there was nobody really around watching. But these machines were just working. It was a factory practically empty of people. You wouldn't believe it. You've never seen anything like it in your life. The machines were doing a perfect job. I mean, you could see that the machines were working perfectly, doing it. And this was already, let me see, maybe 16 years ago, 16, 17, 18 years ago, somewhere in there. I left Germany in 2005, by the way. And they were already that far. And in Baden-Württemberg, Saxony, and Rhineland-Pfalz, I would say Saxony and Baden-Württemberg is number one, and Saxony used to be a close competitor with Saxony, with Baden-Württemberg. Saxony was before it fell behind the Iron Curtain, and then of course it fell behind. But on the other hand, it's picked up very, very quickly because the Saxonians.
And what are these? Are these companies that you're talking about?
No, these are provinces of Germany.
Okay.
Saxony and Baden-Württemberg before Hitler came in and slightly after he came in were always number one and always competing with each other to be number one because they were the most technologically advanced.
Mm-hmm.
But they were the locomotives of Germany, and Germany's the locomotives of Europe. And you can see what has happened. Even though Germany lost the war, you can see Europe is coming together under a German head for the most part. France is close behind, and France cooperates with Germany very closely. Actually, the industrial triangle of Germany is northern Italy, eastern France, and
So
Germany.
what is it you're getting at here? I'm not sure.
I'm getting at that people are not going to be needed except in research and development and maybe personal services or something like that. But the most important high-paying jobs are going to be the brilliant minds who are going to operate these fully automated economies. And there's no way. And also very shortly, maybe I'll just miss it. But my sister, who's 10 years younger than I am, my mom and her sister involved in aging research, and they used telomere extension to make mice young again. And they've had it in the newspaper. And my mom said they're the U.S. government sweeping under the carpet because they did the research at NIH. So my mom said, "You want to hear it?" So I said, "Yeah." So we
slow down, man. slow down. I understand you're excited, but it's getting a little hard to understand you
or keep up.
Yeah, the telomere research
is
promising.
What I'm saying is that the problem of mortality has already been overcome, but the government wouldn't let the researchers finish the research. There were some German researchers and American researchers involved in the research, and it's called telomere extension.
But do you actually believe that jobs are going to go away? You don't think that new jobs will be created over time? That new ideas?
Anything repetitive is going away. The only place
that's not a bad thing, right?
No, it has to be very properly organized. Otherwise, some people are going to be swept under the bus. They're going to have no money, and if it's not properly organized,
Yeah. Okay. Well, if they don't have any money, that's not anybody else's problem but their own because they didn't save any money for a rainy day or whatever.
This is going to go on and on forever. This is not a problem that's going to the money is going to be sucked up into the hands of 0.5% of the people who own.
You mean the government? Because that's what they're talking about.
The rich people. The people who own the means of production, basically. It's going to be.
But that's where de Blasio's wrong. And thank you for the call tonight, Robert. I definitely appreciate hearing from you. Because he alludes to that in his article, suggesting that, all these corporations will benefit from the robots and profits are profits. Well, now, wait a minute. If every corporation puts robots into play, that means they're all going to still be in competition with one another. So that's one of the reasons why the robots, McDonald's has a robot. All right, well, now Burger King's going to get the robot. And so, Wendy's going to get the robot. And then that means none of those companies will be paying that same overhead for all that staff, so they can actually reduce their menu item costs across the board, which doesn't mean more profits necessarily. It means they have to lower their costs because of competition. You may actually end up seeing similar profits at the end of the day because of competition continuing to bring the prices down. Yeah, if they were still charging the same price after they had lowered their let's say they cut their overhead in half. the price of the humans, or they have very few humans left. It's all automated, and then they keep their prices high. Well, as soon as the other company that just automated themselves down the street lowers their prices, guess what's going to happen to the first company? They're either going to have to lower their prices or they're going to go out of business.
Yeah, let's look at during the economic downturn in, say, 2008 and that kind of time frame. I guess it's like 2005, 2008. These fast food places that you just mentioned them, they had dollar menus. You could get
That's right. They still do.
Sort of.
No,
they have value menus now.
I've seen dollar menus in some places, but you don't get much food for $1.
Not anymore.
Right. I don't know that any of them still have a dollar menu, but all right.
I've seen it within the last 5 years.
All right. Well, 5 years is a long time.
I don't
pal.
go to fast food that often.
I know you don't.
Yeah.
That's why I'm asking, and I do. And so I'm asking you not to correct me on this one. I don't think that they, very many of these places have dollar menus left over. But during the economic downturn, when, well, the price of labor dropped, and these companies understood that their customers weren't willing or able to spend that much money, they created menus that were quite expansive. In many cases, these dollar menus had, 8, 9, 10 items on them, and it's enough to keep you going. I wonder, when you don't have to pay employees to produce this stuff, how low is this pricing going to go? Are we going to see the return of a 25-cent McDonald's hamburger?
I doubt that.
Maybe.
The other idea that he brought up really quickly that I think we should expand upon is
Let's do that in a moment. Hold that thought. 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You can take control here. This is Free Talk Live.
Let me ask you something. What are you doing when you put money in a 401k or IRA, or store jumper cables in your vehicle, or purchase health insurance? You're preparing. You're preparing to ensure you have enough money for retirement. You're preparing for when your car battery dies, or to have assistance paying a major unexpected medical bill. That all makes sense. The same goes for building a food storage plan. You're preparing for when emergencies or disasters strike and shelves go empty at your grocery store. The best way to prepare is with My Patriot Supply. They've helped 1 million hardworking Americans become more self-sufficient. My Patriot Supply sells hundreds of items, including dozens of emergency food kits, at MyPatriotSupply.com. It could be an earthquake, a cyber attack freezing our banking system, or a disaster that shuts down our power grid for weeks. For all these emergencies and more, get your supplies and prepare today at MyPatriotSupply.com. No more rushing to find empty store shelves because you're too late. Do it now so you're ready. MyPatriotSupply.com.
Message and data rates may apply.
Ladies and gentlemen, this may be the last time you ever have to worry about hair loss, because Bosley is the real deal. They're giving women and men their hair back permanently. Their real hair. All it takes to get started is a single text message. You'll get an absolutely free information kit and a free gift card when you text Titan11 to 85850. Bosley will show you for free how great your hair could look. You'll also see, for free, why you're losing hair and how to get it back. Women and men all over the country trust Bosley because they're America's #1 hair restoration expert. Ahead of the curve with the latest technology. And the best part? Bosley has permanent solutions to hair loss. You'll love what they'll do for your hair. So drop what you're doing long enough to send a text. Get your free information kit and gift card for $250 off by texting Titan11 to 85850. Don't forget, that's TITAN 11 to 85850.
Free Talk Live.
They have to pass a law that all the guns that are currently there have to disappear in a puff of smoke. That's what they have to do.
Oh, wait, you mean the bad guys won't actually give up their firearms when the authorities come around to confiscate them?
It doesn't really matter that they won't give up their firearms because we're going to pass a law.
Oh, because we pass a law, they'll just all disappear.
Right, yeah.
Man, it's just amazing how powerful laws are.
Yes.
How just striking.
Laws aren't a bunch of dumb crap written on paper. They actually do something. It's really, really stupid.
What will be stupid is if they vote for it.
Yeah, if
take our guns.
You know, these criminals with the guns are going to kill people.
Yeah, they already are, apparently.
And if you don't have a weapon of your own, you're just as good as dead. Once the laws go into effect, that there shouldn't be any weapons anymore, because then they know that the good people don't have weapons.
Free Talk Live, 7 nights a week from 7 to 10 Eastern, live on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
There are lots of ways to listen to Free Talk Live. Our podcast has been around since podcasts began, and now the FTL feed is loaded with content besides our full show archives. Did you know that we make it easy for you to customize your podcast subscriptions? We have different feeds, one that includes only our full shows, one with just the Daily Digest, and one with just the Edgington Post. You decide what you listen to. It's quick and easy to customize your feeds at feeds.freetalklive.com. That's feeds.freetalklive.com.
There are basically two types of advertising, direct response and branding. Radio's great for direct response with its low cost to listener ratio, but audio can't be beat for branding, which is a longer term endeavor. You want to be the first thing that someone thinks of when they think about your product or service. If you have a local business that you want kept top of mind in your community, call the station. If you need national reach, Free Talk Live's got around 200 radio stations, millions of monthly listening sessions, can suit all budgets, and if we don't think we're right for you, we'll tell you. Email me, mark@freetalklive.com.
Live video of our Keene, New Hampshire-based shows is streamed on DLive. Please follow and share at dlive.lrn.fm. That's dlive.lrn.fm.
Hey, it's Free Talk Live. You can dial toll-free and bring up whatever you want. 855-450, free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. With you in the studio tonight, you've got Ian,
Richie Rich,
and Mark.
Don't forget, you can join us online over at freetalklive.com, and the features we have there are completely free. If you do want to support the show, you can do that for just $5 a month over at the AMP program, just like Edwardian has done. He is a Free Talk Live amplifier who is at the silver level. Silver is what we're asking for. That's the $5 a month thing. Now, some people are doing 10, some people do more than that. And, obviously, if you want to send more, that's great. We appreciate it. The AMP program stands for Advertise, Market, and Promote. That means that it's money that we can invest into Free Talk Live so we can get on more radio stations around the country, bring new internet listeners on board, exposing new people to the ideas of freedom, liberty, peace, cryptocurrency, the stuff that we talk about regularly here on the radio. So once again, go to amp.freetalklive.com. You'll get access to some bonuses like the AMP chat rooms on our Discord server. There's the new AMP-only call-in line room there as well on Discord, so that's pretty cool. Plus, if you're still hanging out on Facebook, there is the AMP-only Facebook group. You can go to amp.freetalklive.com, sign up with PayPal. You can also use your credit card and Bitcoin BTC. Let's go to Kelly in North Dakota listening to KTGO in Tioga. Hi, Kelly. You're on Free Talk Live.
How's it going, guys?
Hey, you're on the air.
I work in a pre-automated industry, even though we do have a lot of we have both.
Mm-hmm.
And
is this the oil industry? I'm just guessing.
Yeah, oil and gas. Yeah, North Dakota oil and gas. And my company that I work for actually produces or builds the rigs and the automation, but we have yet to replace the actual roughnecks.
Right, the guys working out on the oil rig.
Yes, sir. And then the guys that work for me actually fix the automated stuff.
Mm-hmm. Is there something special about the roughneck position that doesn't lend itself to automation currently?
Well,
there's some tough mother effers, that's for sure.
Yeah, granted.
Well,
God has blessed those guys.
Not only that, but when you take and you drill 28,000 feet of pipe and turn it at a 90-degree angle, 8,000 feet down below the ground, there's a lot of variables. And I mean, we have programmers and that can, make the programs to drill, and there's so many, but there's too many variables. The human interaction, coupled with the automation, is what makes your oil $50-something a barrel right now.
You're saying the humans can react to something going wrong that maybe the robots wouldn't be able to detect as quickly or as efficiently?
And yes, something like that. There's just so many different things that can happen all at once.
Yeah.
And it's hard to a program is a prediction. A prediction, this happens, then we do this.
Right.
But it's so dynamic that it's hard to. You'll never replace the roughnecks.
Interesting.
Never. You may have less of them, and they all make more money now, but you're never going to get rid of them because somebody has to keep the damn stuff running.
Yeah. They're always going to have them. And that's true with so many industries out there. Somebody's got to be in charge. Somebody's got to be watching this stuff.
Mm-hmm. So if you're on the brink of automating your job, then you should be looking at this and moving to North Dakota and learning how to be a roughneck and get paid bank.
But, But what I say is bring it and try to replace me. If you, I'm a resilient, tough old bird. So you try to replace me, and what I'll do is I'll improvise, adapt, and overcome.
There you go. That's the attitude, right?
That modern problems require modern solutions.
Real life John Henry.
That's the attitude, though, right there that keeps somebody in the game, right? It's the idea of, hey, you try to replace me, I'm going to learn something new. I'm going to adapt. I'm going to overcome, improvise. I love that attitude. That's what people need to have instead of,
well, do you remember, are you guys Trekkies?
Trekkies. I've seen the shows.
I am not.
Well, but there was a test. It's called the Kobayashi Maru test that all the captains took. And you remember how Kirk passed it? Because he's the only one that ever passed it.
Didn't he hack the system or break the system in some way?
He did not. He never believed in a no-win scenario.
Right.
So what he did is he changed the rules, a.k.a. maybe cheated, but passed, because he would not give up, and he never surrendered.
Yep. That's
Awesome.
the truth.
Very cool, Kelly. Anything else you want to share with our listeners tonight? I really appreciate it.
Nope, just know that the boys in the Bakken will keep that oil flowing.
Thanks, brother. I appreciate you guys listening out there, too. KTGO, great station, and thank you for the call tonight. In fact, I got a notice the other day that they're now on FM, but I haven't actually opened the email yet, so I'm happy to hear that. We love it when our AM stations get themselves in what they call in the business an FM translator. It looks like it's 92.7 now there in Tioga, North Dakota. Basically, everybody listening is working in the oil business. Every time somebody calls in, I'm like, you work in the oil business? Yep.
That's an industry that drove up wages in other industries when it took off in North Dakota.
Yeah, that's right.
Because for a while, like Walmart was posting entry-level jobs at like $17, $18 an hour.
Wow, just to compete.
Because they couldn't compete with everyone going to North Dakota for the oil.
Yeah.
They couldn't get workers.
We knew a guy who went out
Walmart
there
wages.
and he's got a job. He's not a roughneck. He just got a job driving the roughnecks around.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And he was unwilling to leave. He's making such good money.
Yeah. So, hey, if you want to comment, you're welcome to join us here, 855-450-FREE, like freedom. If everybody had that guy's attitude, then the
whole game changes.
This whole fear-mongering game by the politicians wouldn't affect anybody because they'd all laugh at the politicians and be like, I'll be fine. Oh, am I going to get replaced by a robot? No big deal. I'll be all right. I'll find something else. If there's nothing else, I'll create something. Because if you actually had a free market, which we don't, you've got a regulated, controlled marketplace here in the United States. But if you had a free market, you could go out there and start your own business. You could start your shoe shine business or whatever it is that you come up with to bring wealth, to create wealth, to create a product or a service in the marketplace that maybe has never been offered before. Maybe you can think up something new. Because you don't always have to just get another job, right? Like that's sort of what people think. But that's not necessarily the only or best solution.
Absolutely.
So you have a piece that is going to criticize Bill de Blasio, as though we haven't done enough. I suspect the experts over at the American Enterprise Institute or something like that?
The American Institute for Economic Research, AIER.
AIER.org. So
is that Jeffrey Tucker's institute?
It might be.
I think it might be.
He does post there. This is not a Jeffrey Tucker critique.
Okay.
They say this proposal by de Blasio to regulate robots, to create a federal agency, is one of the worst ever, if not the worst
regulation ever proposed.
All right.
So I'm going to skip down because they summarized that part of it. So Mayor de Blasio's first idea would be one of the most far-reaching and destructive regulations in American history. A federal agency with a permitting process for any company seeking to increase automation that would displace workers, which is what we talked about in the article, is essentially a political veto over workplace innovations at nearly every business in America.
Yep.
Right. Whoever's in charge of the government gets to decide what the right automation is.
We, the Democrats, have decided that innovation in this area is bad. Because it's not Republicans that are rushing out in this particular one. I'm not picking my favorites here, although I probably do have favorites. The Republicans aren't doing this. This is every Democrat who's running for president right now is trying to one-up the last guy who just spoke.
More free stuff for more people. The result would be a de facto ban on productivity improvements across all professions. After all, there aren't too many sectors in the modern economy where automation isn't playing at least a limited role. Even the oldest agricultural and industrial sectors and professions have undergone a certain amount of automation over time and continue to do so today.
I mean, even on the farms, it's making farming more efficient.
Well, and that's a whole separate issue as well, right? Is the improvements on the tractors are causing it where farmers can't even fix their own gear because they have a license for the tractor.
Oh, yeah.
And they have to take it to a John Deere specialist.
That's not good.
Right.
That's not good, but don't forget now that a guy, because of that John Deere tractor, can farm 1,000 acres one man. 50 years ago, completely impossible.
Just get the Chinese ripoff. Probably costs half as much.
I don't know the Chinese make a Chinese ripoff tractor, but maybe they do.
I'm sure they will.
I bet they do in China.
It's on the way.
These automations improvements have been essential to growing businesses and the economy more generally. Automation advancements also create new and better jobs. It isn't always clear initially how automation will affect workers, but the evolution of markets and innovations always provide interesting and usually beneficial surprises.
Yeah, unpredictable.
Unpredictable.
We don't know what it's going to be, but we know it will be there.
We can read the futurist theories on what might happen, 10, 15, 20, 30 years from now. But it's one of the great things about it is you don't know what's going to come around, and you don't know how it's going to be used, and you don't know who's going to make improvements upon that to really, really utilize it.
Just one idea can blossom into so much. A perfect example, of course, is Bitcoin, this creation by Satoshi Nakamoto, someone who we don't even know who that is. It's an anonymous person. And look at all of the productivity and all of the jobs and the businesses that have sprung from just that one creation.
The freedom, the innovation, everything. Our lives are significantly better because of blockchain technology.
Right, and because it was not licensed, right? It wasn't a copyrighted thing. It was just free, released to the world, open source. There's more coming up here. Hour 3's next. Free Talk Live.
And not to mention the shedding, I would vacuum the carpet 3 times a week. Frodo was scratching all night long, bouncing on the side of the bed, keeping me awake the whole entire night from all the scratching and chewing. It kind of makes you neurotic.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy?
Mounds and mounds of fur all over the place.
Come to Dinovite for help.
DINOVITE.com. If you want the dog to be healthy, you got to feed it something healthy.
Dinovite is nutrition.
The omega-3 fatty acids, flaxseed, zinc, alfalfa.
Our vitamins and enzymes replace the nutrients cooked out of most commercial dog foods.
He gobbles it up. He's not up all night scratching. His shedding is minimal, and it is such a pleasure to have my calm, relaxed, non-shedding puppy back. And I have to thank Dinovite for that.
Don't let your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy.
Come to Dinovite for help.
859-428-1000.
859-428-1000.
DINOVITE.com.
What do you shop for that you could otherwise buy at Amazon? Pretty much everything, right? Amazon has competitive pricing and they deliver, and that's a big plus. If you could plan ahead in your shopping, would you be interested in saving up to 33%? There's a catch. You have to do your shopping in Bitcoin. But imagine those savings. It's like a huge raise. All you have to do is go to saveatpurse.com. We've saved thousands, and you can too. Plan ahead and save. Saveatpurse.com. LRN.FM now has a Discord. Discord is a free text and voice chat platform, and we now have our own server with a bunch of channels at discord.lrn.fm. You can join other listeners as they chat about various things during our live shows, or anytime, day or night. Discord software is available cross-platform, so you can have it on whatever device you want and take your chats anywhere. Join our Discord at discord.lrn.fm. That's discord.lrn.fm.
You're listening to the live edition of Free Talk Live. Hour number 3 is next after the news here on the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for Liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,518, silver at $18.67, and Bitcoin is trading around $10,581. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, in the state of California, up until this week. Citizens who were able-bodied persons 18 years of age or older would be charged with a crime if a police officer asked them for help and they refused. All of that has since changed, as Governor Gavin Newsom has signed a bill that no longer requires or forces citizens to help police officers. The law was still on the books from the days of the Wild West. The California Posse Comitatus Act of 1872 made it a crime punishable by up to a $1,000 fine for refusing to respond to a police officer's call for assistance during an arrest. The Free Thought Project reports that it took until 2019 to change the bill that essentially turned citizens into indentured servants of police officers. Such bills were originally drafted as a means to garner help for cops who were attempting to catch fugitive slaves. As the Sacramento Bee points out, Posse Comitatus derives from medieval English common law, but saw widespread use in America's early days, including as a tool of enforcement for the Fugitive Slave Act. The Liberty Bee is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. As YouTube, Google, and Twitter crack down on peaceful channels, censor alternative media, and allow child exploitation videos to flourish, the Federal Trade Commission has slapped the tech giant with a $170 million fine and other sanctions for unscrupulously and illegally tracking children. The Free Thought Project reports that the fine was the result of a lawsuit against the company for violating the rights of children under 13 years of age by tracking them online without their parents' consent. Politico reports that under a consent decree, YouTube will require users to self-identify whether videos they upload are meant for children, obtain parental consent before collecting personal information about kids, and provide its employees with annual training on how to comply with the children's privacy law. For the last 5 years, a serial rapist has terrorized the state of Georgia. At least 8 different cases of rape and sexual battery have been tied to 24-year-old Kenneth Bowen III. But until now, he has avoided getting caught. But all that changed when the very department who was investigating his case caught him after he began the process of becoming a cop. Clayton County Police Chief Kevin Roberts, during a news conference held last week, said, quote, "Had he not attempted to join ranks in the Clayton County Police Department, it is questionable as to when we would have apprehended him." When looking through police employee records, investigators found details that link Bowen to the cases. A search warrant to obtain Bowen's DNA was obtained last week, which linked him to at least 8 different attacks on women. After he was arrested, Bowen was charged with 7 counts of rape and 1 count of sexual battery. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
From the day an ancient cave dweller painted yet another f***ing elk hunt on a wall in 15,000 BC, to Gary Marshall's 1974 discovery of 13 weather-beaten North Dakotan coal miners that would go on to become the cast of Happy Days, The Onion looks back at This Week in History. On June 17, 1954, the effects of the previous month's historic Supreme Court ruling in Brown versus the Board of Education provided black students with the educational opportunity of experiencing racism firsthand in desegregated schools. Up until that point, African American pupils could only endure racial slurs and death threats in city streets or near their homes. And on June 24, 1784, 13-year-old Edward Warren took the first hot air balloon flight, becoming the first American to urinate on a crowd from 100 feet in the air. And that was what happened this week in history.
This is the Onion News Network.
Free Talk Live.
This is Free Talk Live, and we're launching into the third hour of the program. Are you scared of the future?
No.
Are you scared of robots? I'm not talking about the Terminator, although there is a new Terminator movie coming out. Are you not excited about?
Okay. All right. If you want to get into this, I'll get into this briefly. Terminator Genesis ruined the entire concept of the Terminator because it leads to an infinite regress of always going further back in time to kill the last Terminator that went back in time. There's no real way out of that conundrum
Ian,
at this point.
You're our resident expert. And,
I'm not an expert.
A man has thrown down the gauntlet here.
No, I'm definitely not an expert on the Terminator films.
What do you think about Aliens and Predator?
I love the Terminator movies. I mean, most of them. I've only seen the fourth one like one time.
Okay.
The fifth one, the Genesis one. I liked Genesis. I thought it was really entertaining.
And fine, if you want the entertainment value, but what they do, they went back in time and killed the original Terminator. So Terminator 6.
Did they? I don't even remember.
Right. So there you go. So Terminator 6.
Wait a minute. They didn't kill the original Terminator. I don't want to spoil it for you. So here's a spoiler alert.
Right there.
The Arnie gets upgraded at the end of Genesis. He doesn't get killed.
Well, no, but the opening plot is they go back in time to stop the original Terminator from killing Sarah Connor initially, right? Then they did the whole face thing on Arnie and whatever. And all I'm saying is, if that's the plot of the newest movie, Terminator 6 is just going to go back in time to kill the Terminator that went back in time.
The new movie is going to ignore the other movies, from what I understand.
Well, good, because they screwed it up already.
This is going to supposedly be a sequel after Terminator 2.
Okay.
So that's why they're bringing back Sarah Connor. They're bringing back Linda Hamilton as Sarah Connor. They actually got her out of retirement.
And the Sarah Connor Chronicles also ruined the entire timeline because they jumped like 10 years forward.
But that was also a good show.
So, right. For entertainment value, yes.
So are you one of these canon-only people to where it has to like completely meld in with whatever the official
I like it
is?
To make sense, right? If John Connor is like 24 years old in Terminator 4, he can't jump 14 years into the future and be a 10-year-old at the same time. That's all I'm saying. Like watch the movies before you write the new ones. So you
have
can at least have
seen
some sort
Highlander?
I've seen the first Highlander because they screwed it up in Highlander 2.
Oh,
yeah, Highlander 2 is notoriously a bad movie.
Highlander 2 is one of the worst movies ever made.
Right,
and to have Sean Connery in one of the worst movies ever made. It's a tragedy. It's travesty. But they went on with the series and all this other stuff, so they kept having to cobble these things in because it was such an awesome movie. They had to do something more.
No, they didn't, because the first one was there can be only one.
Yep.
And then there was, and then they went, nope, sorry.
Now there's a series.
Now there's a series, and there's plenty of them,
which was popular. It was a popular series. Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that.
Yeah, on new intellectual property that's just as entertaining.
Yeah, but Hollywood's out of ideas, so keep repackaging the same old
Matrix
stuff.
4, Terminator 6.
They are doing a Matrix 4, that's right, and I'm ready, man. Bring it on.
Well, if you all want to watch Jupiter Ascending instead, we go into the theaters and actually support it, and the Wachowskis wouldn't have had to come out with Matrix 4.
I
but
actually
now we
did
pay
go
the
watch
bills.
that in the theaters.
After we talked about that, I went home and watched it again with my
awesome.
Jupiter Ascending?
Yeah,
I did go to the theater and see that
Did
one.
you? I love it.
All right, so let's continue here. We can talk about more about the future with robots and the fear that people have surrounding this, and the critique of Bill de Blasio, who is announcing that he wants to have a government program get in the way of any kind of development and tax companies to death, basically, if they decide they want to add any form of automation. But let's continue with you've got the American Institute for Economic Research saying this is the worst regulation ever proposed.
Right. So automation advancements also creates new and better jobs. It isn't always clear initially how automation will affect workers. For example,
and that's the fear of the future, right? Like people don't know what's going to happen, so they think it's going to be the worst case scenario.
Yeah, and you get that a lot when you propose the idea. For me, right? When you propose the idea of a world without government, right? To go, well, the worst thing that could happen is gangs and whomever takes over and warlords, And everyone always looks at the worst case scenario as opposed to the potential upside of a world full of freedom and voluntary interactions amongst people.
I think it speaks to the individual you're talking to and their opinion about people in general.
I think it speaks to people using poor diction. You're never going to have a world without government. You're going to have a world without the state, because the state is an antiquated notion that's basically evolved from slavery. And the idea that an organization is going to claim to govern you in a monopoly status and force their governance down your throat is not the kind of thing that's going to live in an internet world. But as long as libertarians demand to use terms like, we're going to eliminate the government, they're going to continue to get the results, which is people saying, whoa, you can't live without government, and they can't. There must be government.
They're not being as picky about that word as you are, Mark. People don't think about government like you're talking about it.
Well,
when they think of the government, they think of the state.
They understand. No, they understand that there must be governance for the human primate. It must have governance. Now, admittedly, it can't have a lot, like socialism, great idea, bad species. But ultimately, that's what we're talking about here. Is that when you say, well, when you eliminate government, when you talk about eliminating government, you're talking about, well, the water mains don't work, and everything that goes into it. Sorry, got to have better diction. If you want to convince people, you got to abandon bad terminology.
So the concept that I wanted to bring up earlier with regards to the automation was from a couple callers ago, was the idea that this had to be rolled out slowly so that it didn't affect people too harshly. And similarly, when we talk about the end of the state or no governance, right, it's always, well, this can't happen because those people aren't ready for it. So we, the people who want to live free, who want to live a voluntary lifestyle, are always living down to the expectations of like the lowest common denominator people in society. And as technology advances, we're always slowing down technology so that the slowest members of society don't feel left behind. And personally, I don't care.
Just have the flip phones for them, right? I mean, we don't need that. In a free world, people can have different levels of technological interface if that's what they want. You want to live in a tent in a national forest? By God, get out there.
Right, and I agree with you. But when we have proposals by the mayor of New York City, presidential candidate, going like, we're going to slow down innovation so the slowest members of society can keep up, or we're not going to eliminate the state because too many people will be affected harshly up front, through that freedom increasing process. I'm like, no, I don't want to live down to your lowered standards. I want you to rise up to mine. And and maybe it's a diction thing, or maybe it's just the mentality of always being, needing that handout, needing that help out, as opposed to like the last caller from the oil rigs, having the tenacity to go out and do things yourself and make things happen on your own, as opposed to standing aside and letting things happen to you.
Right, and it's the people that are the latter category that the politicians know are ripe for a picking. They want to pander to those people. Yeah. They want their votes. They want to encourage them to be weak.
That's what voting has turned into. It's forcing your neighbor into a form of slavery to appease you, and that it's tyranny.
Tyranny with the majority.
Yeah, on the minority, the individual, the freedom lovers, the
producers.
Yeah.
Politics is basically threatening your neighbor.
That's right.
All right. For example, go back to the article. Automated advancements in the early 1980s. Many feared ATMs would make all bank tellers irrelevant. Instead, we got more bank workers, but they are now doing different jobs.
By the way, I saw an article, I think yesterday, that the ATM is now 50 years old.
Nice.
50 years.
And there's people that still prefer to walk into the bank and have a face-to-face interaction with the bank teller.
Sure.
Yeah, but if you just want the cash, right, the machine's there for you, and convenient when you need bail money, because a lot of times the bank's not open at that time of night. Just saying.
Wait a second. I mean, don't they have like $300
depends on
limits?
the bank.
Okay.
Yeah, it depends. Sometimes it's $5, and that's usually enough.
Having never gotten bail money out of an ATM.
Well, I'm sorry you live a boring life.
Maybe my bail's just too high.
Now they're doing different jobs. How would de Blasio's plan have worked back then?
Yeah, great point. We'll get into coming up, because again, this comes back to what I said in the first hour. Is like, this all sounds so familiar. The constant pushback against automation isn't a new thing. It's just now there's a new generation of politicians who's capitalizing on it and trying to make a name for themselves and win votes and get more power. 855-450, free like freedom. If you want to join us on the radio, you can here on Free Talk Live.
I can definitely say that I have found the best cryptocurrency wallet. Certainly the best named one. I'm Mark Edge, and I love the Edge wallet. I've been using it for the last few months. You can buy, sell, trade, and hold your cryptocurrency securely. I trust my holdings of all the major cryptocurrencies to Edge wallet, and you should too. No long phrases to memorize, just a username and password. Secure your freedom with Edge wallet. Get it now on Apple or Android in the App Store or at edge.app.
Do you have a crypto wealth advisor or coach? If so, has your cryptocurrency advisor been investing in technology stocks for over 20 years? Have they left the corporate world and retired? Or are they still trying to make a weekly paycheck? Have they produced six-figure results for their customers in the past 30 days? And very importantly, are they a member of the Digital Currency Council? Seth Maniscalco is the founder of Crypto Wealth Coach and CryptoWealthCoach.com. Seth invested in his first Roth IRA at 19 years old while living abroad and has been investing in Wall Street and technology for over 20 years with experience in all the money markets. By comparison, so many of these so-called crypto gurus have barely been alive for 20 years. Seth has not only experienced personal success from his own investments in crypto, he has also helped his clients earn 6- and 7-figure incomes, including helping investors make over $750,000 in EOS in 90 days and 1,225% in only 5.5 months with Chainlink. Seth has help for the small do-it-yourself guy on up to crypto whales. Increase your wealth. Visit CryptoWealthCoach.com.
Anarchadelphia is a conference dedicated to the principles of liberty, individual sovereignty, and freedom from coercion, located in Philadelphia, the cradle of liberty. Anarchadelphia seeks to shed light on issues such as geopolitics, blockchain economics, spiritual health and wellness, as well as exposing the Earth's sacred hidden knowledge, featuring Mark Passio, Max Egan, Derek Brose, Jeff Berwick, and many more this September 13th through 15th. For info and tickets, visit anarchadelphia.com.
Is spreading the message of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace around the globe worth $2 per month to you? As you may already know, in addition to our internet feed, LRN.FM broadcasts on free-to-air satellite across North and Central America, as well as Sub-Saharan Africa. And we've been available on satellite for free 24/7 since 2010. The LRN.FM free-to-air satellite signal is reaching some of the most oppressive regimes in the world, and there's no doubt our ideas are making an impact. You can learn more about the channel's impact by watching the 3-minute video at fund.lrn.fm. If you'd like to help free minds globally with our ideas of liberty, cryptocurrency, and peace, you can donate as little as $2 per month via fund.lrn.fm. You can help us continue and expand our satellite broadcast to multiple continents. Visit fund.lrn.fm today, and thank you for your help. Don't forget to share the link on social media. That's fund.lrn.fm. The LRN.FM social media channels have been revamped. We've eliminated Facebook and focused on other platforms like Twitter and Mastodon, the decentralized alternative to Twitter. On our accounts, you'll find posts from multiple LRN.FM show hosts together in one place. Follow us on Twitter at twitter.lrn.fm, or better yet, move to the decentralized Mastodon social media platform at toot.lrn.fm, toot.lrn.fm. I think you'll like it.
Looking for a great real estate investment? Consider New Hampshire, which is ground zero for the Liberty Movement. Your first call should be to Mark Worden from Porcupine Real Estate. He's more than just a real estate agent. He's your New Hampshire concierge. Where are the best places to live? Do you want farm, city, the burbs, or forest? Do you want a duplex or multifamily building so that renters pay your mortgage? There are homes in all price ranges in New Hampshire, and Mark can help with financing too. Invest in liberty and property. Mark Worden can help.
PorcupineRealEstate.com.
You're listening to the best liberty-oriented audio streamed around the clock, on the air, and online. This is the Liberty Radio Network at LRN.FM.
Yep, it's Free Talk Live. You can bring up anything you want here. Our toll-free number is 855 450 free like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Tonight, it's Ian,
Richie Rich,
and Mark.
We're going to go back to your phone calls and thoughts. Also, you can call in on our Discord call-in lines, which is actually where we've got a couple guys waiting over at discord.lrn.fm. You can join us there. That's discord.lrn.fm. Also, coming up this weekend, the State of Anarchy guys are putting together their first conference. They're calling it Anarchadelphia this September 13th through the 15th. It's a conference dedicated to the principles of liberty, individual sovereignty, and freedom from coercion. Located in Philadelphia, the cradle of liberty, Anarchadelphia seeks to promote self-ownership by shining light on issues ranging from geopolitics, blockchain economics, and spiritual health and wellness, as well as by exposing the Earth's sacred hidden knowledge. Featuring Jeff Berwick, Derek Brose, Luke Radowski, Carrie Wedler, and many more of the most influential minds in the freedom community. All Anarchadelphia guests are invited to attend 3 uniquely stylized after parties Friday through Sunday, where they can let loose with their favorite freedom advocates. You can go to anarchadelphia.com and follow them on social media for updates. That's anarchadelphia.com. It's coming up this weekend, September 13th through the 15th, but definitely not too late to get involved. As we go to Tritium, he is in Virginia Beach, and Tritium, you're on Free Talk Live.
Hey, I am close to Virginia Beach, but yeah, I'm calling about the topic du jour, the automation thing.
All right.
And first of all, I mean, sum everything up in the first sentence. I have it on pretty good authority from various people that pretty knowledgeable that people are going. Automation is not going to go crazy, eliminate jobs, eliminate human labor inputs, employment, and it'll like every other major innovation and major change through society, people will find other jobs and other things to do, and the economy will change, but people will still have something to do. But
what authority are you speaking from? You said you have it on good authority.
Yeah, who told you that?
I mean, I just gathered that around from various people that seem to be that have pretty good bona fides about what they've said in the past. That it's a lot of alarmism from a bunch of people that I like, but the Blasio.
Well, beyond what people are saying, you can also go back and look at the past, and that's what you were sharing with us, Richie. Yeah. Was from the 1980s. They were afraid of what was it that was
ATMs?
ATMs were going to destroy the teller industry.
Yep.
It didn't.
Don't forget that Japan was supposed to take all our jobs.
Well, the candle makers were really threatened by the electric light bulb.
Oh, yeah.
I believe a candle store just opened here in Keene within the last 3 years. One of them Yankee candles.
I'll bet it's scented.
Oh, yeah.
It scents, yeah. Pumpkin spice. But I wanted to, but I did want to mention, though, that, I mean, we're actually facing a much, much bigger technical innovation. This is automating certain businesses, of course. We've been under a capitalist economic system since pretty much the dawn of the Industrial Revolution. And technology is really pushing us in the direction of a post-capitalist future if people have to take some modicum effort to almost basically be an anarchist. And that is
I'm going to put you on the spot real quick because the term capitalism is very divisive. So how would you define that as far as the current version of capitalism versus the post-capitalistic future?
Strictly like the kind of, historical, technical definition of capitalism as a system of, as a radical libertarian is what I identify as. I would define it as a system, somewhat centrally planned system where the production inputs are controlled by a group, an economic elite of
oligarchy.
Government.
Yeah,
an economic elite of government privilege. That's the word I was looking for.
Wasn't that crony capitalism?
Well,
again,
hold on. I'm not going
to.
What you
do?
That's
capital. That's the definition of capital. As
when you use the Socratic method, you ask them what definition they're using, and then you use it. Rather than parsing words and arguing about, well, you're wrong. That's not the definition of capitalism that I like, and going back and forth.
Well, I don't like the word capitalism at all because there's nobody that agrees on what it actually means, and so I just throw the whole thing out.
Which is why
capital is basically that the group of people or that mass of wealth that basically controls the the distribution of resources through investment and like the communists would say, the means of production. And that's what it meant. And the word capitalism was basically the predominance of this system in controlling society and the economy. And a more decentralized economy would, by definition, be less capitalist. So what I'm basically referring to is the ability that we have the ability to use technology like 3D printers and molecular reactors, and in your own basement. I mean, the technology is here in a basement, in a small warehouse. Anybody can, and without asking permission of the government, and that's very important when you think of the things you can do with this. You can create, hard, durable goods from plastics, from even metals now, 3D, complex goods, moving parts. You can create all sorts of molecules, some of which are heavily controlled under intellectual property, for example. There are people out there making pills that are sold by pharmaceutical companies at $1,000 a pop for pennies on the dollar.
Really?
Without asking permission.
Well, the same pharmaceutical companies are also selling it for pennies on the dollar in foreign countries.
But wait, are you saying you can just cook up pharmaceuticals in your basement now with relatively affordable technology? I was not aware of this.
Like a CRISPR machine?
This is cutting edge, yeah, but this is being done by people underground, actually, and they're not completely underground. They're open about it, but it's highly illegal, obviously, in many situations, and they're giving out the medicine. But
well, Trump's going to have a trade war with those people.
Yeah. But,
how do they do this? Mark, you use the term CRISPR. This is this new technology that allows DNA manipulation, right?
Yeah, I don't know about the molecule manipulation. I don't know anything about it.
I mean, what are we talking about here? Is this like $20,000 for one of these machines that just lets you make drugs? I mean, I don't know anything about this.
Think of a 3D printer. I don't know the technical. I'm not a technical guy, but think of a 3D printer, but with molecules.
A chemistry set.
Wow.
Yeah.
A chemistry
set
where
you
can
engineer medicines, basically. I mean, any medicine.
And what do you pour into this thing? Like, it's not plastic, so like, what do you?
I'll put some links in the Discord.
Yeah,
I don't know everything myself, and these are these are anarchists that are basically behind this. And same with 3D printers. I mean, we're at the point where you don't need capital, massive amounts of capital and investors to manufacture, to create things that we need to grow.
And that's amazing.
The way we can grow food is crazy.
Yeah. It's bringing the cost down, and that's true across the board. It's so much easier now to, create your own videos and audio on the internet. The price, the barrier to entry is far lower than it's ever been. I mean, you could use your phone to create an audio program if you wanted to. You don't need fancy equipment, fancy computers.
Fancy degrees.
Video editing is now in the hands of the average person, whereas you used to need tens of thousands, if not hundreds of thousands of dollars worth of equipment to do this stuff. And as you're pointing out, the 3D printing, this is, we live in an amazing time, and all these costs that are coming down, the barriers to entry coming down, means more people can enter into these marketplaces and create new services and products. And thank you, Trading, for the call tonight. I definitely appreciate the discussion. The toll-free number here is 855-450-FREE. That's 855-450-3733. You lower the barrier to entry, the more competition comes in, the more new ideas, the lower the prices. That benefits everybody. There's more on the way here. 855-450-FREE. And, of course, robots will bring the costs down even further. It's Free Talk Live.
You're not a wild animal, and you shouldn't be tagged and tracked like one. Where you go and what you do every minute of the day, tracked and recorded by your mobile phone, is often more revealing than your browser history. And tech companies make a fortune selling your location history without your consent. GoDark bags prevent location tracking and protect your privacy by instantly blocking all cell phone, GPS, and Wi-Fi signals to your mobile device. Plus, they're durable, water-resistant, and built for a lifetime of protection. Visit GoDarkbags.com/FTL. That's GoDarkbags.com/FTL.
Gold has definitely been on the move recently, and there is no more secure investment historically. McIlvaney ICA has been helping people take delivery of precious metals and find storage options for decades. They've helped thousands of investors with their precious metal IRAs. Call ICA today for your free portfolio review at 800-525-9556 or download their free report online at ICAGoldSilver.com to learn how you can double your gold and silver ounces even within an IRA. 800-525-9556. ICAGoldSilver.com.
Hi, I'm Derek J. I don't want a politician to represent me. To me, Government is the idea that one group of people can coerce everyone to comply with an edict or face increasing punishments up to and including death. Despite perhaps the most noble of intentions, the best government services are a far cry from what could be provided for by voluntary interactions. Besides, the people who call themselves the government wage wars and put peaceful people in jail for crimes involving no victims. If Starbucks used some of its money to drop bombs, I wouldn't shop there. So why would I support the American empire? The empire does not require my consent.
Derek J's Victimless Crime Spree. Watch it for free and order the Director's Cut DVD at victimlesscrimespree.com. That's victimlesscrimespree.com.
Are you tired of governments murdering people around the world? Stop using their money. There is an alternative. Bitcoin is a stateless free market non-political currency. Bitcoin cannot be inflated or controlled by any government. By using their money, you are helping the state. Stop doing it. You have an incredible alternative available now. Learn it, use it, spread it. Get started with Bitcoin at bitcoin.com. That's bitcoin.com.
Some of you asked, and now we've delivered. LRN.FM's live Keene, New Hampshire studio shows are now streamed in HD on Twitch. Visit our channel at twitch.lrn.fm and give it a follow. If you have Amazon Prime, you get one free subscription on Twitch. If you use it on our channel, Twitch will give LRN.FM a monthly piece of your Prime subscription cost. So please watch, follow, share, and subscribe to twitch.lrn.fm. That's twitch.lrn.fm.
This is a special alert for business owners, consultants, coaches, folks planning retirement, entrepreneurs, and anyone who is saving and investing to build a financial future. You are likely aware that financial privacy for most people has recently died a miserable death. And let's face it, without privacy, there really is no security, is there? Bankrupt governments and banks on the verge of collapse are perhaps the biggest threat to your financial future today. The Lighthouse Law Club recognizes this and has been working diligently to provide safe, secure, and productive tools to ensure your privacy, your financial security, and your future financial well-being, despite the catastrophes which many people fear are looming ahead of us. Find out more with a variety of free videos on the YouTube channel for Lighthouse Law Club. Just search YouTube for Lighthouse Law Club and secure your future today.
Do you love Twitter? Make sure you favorite the LRN.FM Twitter account so you can receive our tweets at twitter.lrn.fm. That's twitter.lrn.fm.
This is Free Talk Live. You dial in toll free and bring up what you want. Our number here is 855-450-FREE. Like freedom, that's 855-450-3733. We've got the Discord call-in line rooms. They're open and available to you at discord.lrn.fm. And we're going to continue with taking your calls and thoughts. We can also continue with more on the worst regulation ever proposed. At least that's according to the American Institute for Economic Research, talking about Bill de Blasio's opinion piece from Wired magazine, published probably within the last week, about how he wants a new government agency to basically stop progress when it comes to robotics and automation systems, get in the way, create new taxes, demand licensing, basically say to a company, you can't add that robot, you can't automate that until you pay big money to the government, until you give severance packages or guarantee to rehire the same person in a different task. And it's just ridiculous fear-mongering based on nothing except for just plain old scaring people about what the future holds. We can talk more about it, but let's go back to your calls and thoughts first. Rain is on the line in Virginia listening to WNIS. Hello, Rain.
Hi, guys.
Hi.
How are you?
Hey, good. What's on your mind tonight?
Well, I was wondering, I really want to talk about Bill de Blasio now that I kind of tuned in late and I didn't know that was your main subject. But the guy that called himself Tritium, I was wondering what your thoughts are on the Tritium generator. How come we haven't somehow or another developed that technology?
And what is that?
Is this the radioactive salt one?
Yes. Yes, it focuses a sapphire laser onto that, which creates heat and generally, and basically has no radiation coming off of it to speak of. And they're using it to focus a laser beam and turn it into heat energy.
A friend of mine is a big fan of this.
So you're saying this is like a highly efficient way to generate electricity?
Power. Yeah, and power.
Okay.
Well, you can put it in a box the size of a refrigerator and set it on the corner and power the neighborhood.
Right.
Sweet.
And you don't have to worry about a nuclear meltdown or anything like that.
We've been talking about this stuff for years.
Sign
Ian.
me up.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what I say. Sign me up. I'm 65 years old. And, or at least for the next 2 hours I will be. And I'm amazed at the technology that I hear about, that things that are supposedly on a shelf somewhere, that we haven't brought them out there yet.
Well, because big oil is holding them back.
Sure they are. I don't believe that.
That's interesting. I'd never heard of tritium before. I know we've talked about thorium versus uranium as far as the differences between the two, but I know nothing about tritium.
I think it is tritium.
Well, no, it is something called tritium. I did just look it up. It's different from thorium. I don't know how it's different,
Well,
but
they were talking about powering an automobile with it at one time.
Wow.
That, by 2022, there was an article that I'm driving. I can't get my BlackBerry right now and look at it, but
you have a BlackBerry?
Yeah, I use nothing but BlackBerry. But,
didn't they come back? Didn't somebody buy the brand and
maybe?
No,
I don't remember.
I have a Priv, and I love my BlackBerry.
Tactile buttons.
No, this is the only thing that Kim Kardashian and I could possibly have in common. It's the fact that she lost her BlackBerry and it broke her heart.
Rain, I want to say thank you for calling in tonight. I really appreciate hearing from you, and thanks for sharing that with us. Obviously, there's a lot of really interesting technology that's out there. And is it a plot by the oil companies to keep down good nuclear power, or what? I don't know. It's a good question.
There's a BlackBerry Key 2 that exists now with
it's a newer product.
Yeah.
How about that?
I'm not, well, I don't mind the label conspiracy theorist, but a lot of those new technologies just don't have the regulatory environment to allow them to expand as rapidly as they could.
Meaning the government is standing in the way of them developing this?
Because they worry about the safety issues, right? It's radioactive, it's nuclear, and since politicians and elected officials don't have the knowledge or the intellect or the experience working with that type of thing to really parse it out and understand what the potential is, again, just the fear of what could go wrong or the potential for what could go wrong halts the technology from moving forward. Right?
Let's go to Gene, the Christian anarchist. He is on our Discord server at discord.lrn.fm. Go ahead, Gene.
Guys, I got a new example of why trying to shrink government is pretty much like beating your head against the wall.
Okay.
We've got Ron Paul when he ran, and he had so many delegates, and then when it gets time for the convention, they make up a bunch of they pressure everybody to vote for McCain, and all Ron Paul's delegates just basically disappear. So
they're already, by the way, there was before you go on, there was a headline within the last 48 hours. GOP plans to drop presidential primaries in 4 states to impede Trump challengers. So apparently the Republican parties.
There you go, stealing my thunder. That's
it's already started for 2020, where they're trying to just basically say, well, we want Trump, so we're not even going to let Bill Weld or whoever else is in the race have a chance. Joe Walsh, apparently, these other challengers according to the story at MSN
Does
News.
Trump have a Maserati that goes 185?
Okay, let me let me
Is that the same Joe Walsh?
I think so. No, it's not the same Joe Walsh.
Let me jump in real quick. I'm not a Republican. This is just the GOP perspective.
Mm-hmm.
There's the old term, like those who fail to learn history are doomed to repeat it. This is a plan from the GOP to avoid repeating history, in which there is a strong challenger to the incumbent president, weakening that incumbent president before the general election. And in the past, right, if there's a strong challenge in the primaries, the president loses in the general. So the GOP does not want a strong primary challenge to Trump so that he's strong going into the general election and therefore doesn't then lose to a Democrat, repeating history that has happened within the last few decades.
Interesting theory. Here's the point I'm trying to make anyway, is that you can't win a game if the other side has all of the marbles.
Yeah,
you know,
right.
like if you're
They've rigged it.
playing
They
a
write the
football
rules.
game, if you're playing a football game and the other team has your playbook, it's exactly what we're looking at right now, because every time we try to make a move to promote liberty or to advance liberty, they change the rules. They go in and they make it so that nobody can, get on the ballot and so on and so forth.
I don't think you're going to find liberty in the GOP primaries either, though. Like
Ron Paul's not there. You're not going to find it.
Or the Democratic one. So
Sure.
they're both two sides of the same coin that make sure that the status quo continues. And the status quo is that it's going to continue to grow. It's going to continue to erode liberties until something causes it to collapse. I'm thinking that's probably going to be a financial collapse. But when it does come, I mean, it's going to come eventually. Everything falls. Rome fell. It took 1,000 years or whatever, but Rome fell. They all fall, and the USA is going to fall. So,
Yay!
Yay!
It can't happen soon enough.
Well,
Happy New
it's
Year.
gonna be a real rough time for people still in the United States when that occurs.
That is true.
I mean, that's not going to be a lot of fun.
You mean, are they going to
It's not gonna
attack
be fun.
within? You mean they're going to roll in tanks or drop bombs?
Just take a look at what it's like for everybody who's in some empire that falls.
Yeah, it's
I mean,
going to be financially
Estonians have done
very
better.
bad.
Estonia was
A
an
lot of
empire.
people-
They were part of the
there's
Soviet
gonna
Union.
Be a lot of deaths. There's going to be a lot of deaths. It's going to be very, very bad. People that can't get their medications, people that can't get clean water.
Like I said earlier, there's too many
now
people
wait, just because
dependent on government services.
just because the federal government fails doesn't mean the water supply is going to fail in Keene, New Hampshire. That doesn't make any sense. I
Well,
don't buy
I mean,
that.
if you're collecting your rainwater, that's one thing. But
No,
the city water
government it doesn't need the federal government to continue to clean the water supply.
It's not just the federal government that's going to collapse. If the financial crisis hits, it's going to hit all local governments just as hard, if not harder, than
Or
the
at
federal
least some
government.
local governments that get assistance from the state or the feds, these sorts of things that get redistribution from richer areas. You never know.
Hang on, Gene. We'll continue. Free Talk Live.
With more people listening to radio than visit Google, Facebook, or YouTube, from the very young to the very old, everyone listens to radio. Pillow companies, alarm, identity theft, nutrition, insurance, banking, automotive. The list goes on and on. Billion-dollar businesses. Why? The answer is radio. The media everyone tunes into. Find out how effective and affordable radio can be for your business. Contact 877-996-4327 or advertise at gcnlive.com.
Tahibo Tea Club's original pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea comes from the only tree in the world that fungus doesn't grow on. So it naturally has antifungal, antiviral, antibacterial, anti-infection, anti-inflammation, and anti-parasite properties. But maybe more importantly, Tahibo Tea Club's original pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea builds corpuscles in the blood which carry oxygen to our organs and cells. Our organs and cells need oxygen to regenerate themselves. The immune system needs oxygen to develop, and cancer happens to die in oxygen. The tea is great for healthy people, and it can truly be miraculous for someone fighting a potentially life-threatening disease due to an infection, diabetes, or cancer. Tahibo Tea Club's original pure Pau d'Arco Super Tea is only $34.95 plus shipping. Order now at shopsupertea.com or call 818-984-6100. That's shopsupertea.com or call 818-984-6100. Shopsupertea.com.
Hunters, anglers, campers, and survivalists. Get back to nature. Expand your horizons with the highest quality, most versatile, unique slingshots and sling bows on the market at slingbow.com. Slingbow products are compact and models start from just $17.98. They're perfect for your bug out bag or storing in your vehicle. Give yourself and your loved ones the excitement and tradition of Slingbow, a new frontier in archery and truly modern twist on this primitive survival tool. Feel the thrill only at slingbow.com.
On Free Talk Live, we're bringing people to the ideas of liberty every day. From wrestling superstars like Glenn Jacobs.
You guys really are having an impact, I believe. Like I said, a lot of where I am now is due to listening to Free Talk Live. You changed my mind on some very important issues years ago.
To random people tuning in on the radio.
I was kind of stuck in the left-right paradigm. I heard your show by chance on a Saturday night. From there, I went on, joined the Free State Project, and become an amplifier. So, I mean, that's really the reason why I amp is because I know that if it wasn't for you guys being on as many stations as you are, I never would have found the ideas of liberty.
Your amp will directly change more lives by getting Free Talk Live in front of people looking for talk radio online and on the air. When you amp Free Talk Live, you get perks like access to the AMP-only Facebook group and AMP podcast. Visit amp.freetalklive.com. So you've heard all 3 hours of the latest episode of Free Talk Live, and you're still hungry for liberty-oriented audio content? Did you know that we have another 24/7 audio stream at LRN.FM? The Liberty Radio Network airs the latest episodes of some of the best liberty-oriented podcasts on the internet around the clock. In addition to recorded content, you'll also hear live shows like Free Talk Live, originating from our Keene, New Hampshire studio. So listen anytime at LRN.FM. That's LRN.FM. So you've signed the Shire Society Declaration and are planning your move to New Hampshire to be around more liberty-oriented people. Next, sign up for the Shire Society Forum at forum.shiresociety.com. There are a bunch of people there who are already in the Shire, and they want to meet you. If you're already in the Shire physically, you should also come by the forums. Remember, not everyone uses Facebook. New people are signing up for the Shire Society Forum every month, so drop in and say hello at forum.shiresociety.com.
You can put the Liberty Radio Network on the air in your area. Visit broadcast.lrn.fm to learn how. Broadcast.lrn.fm.
It's Free Talk Live. You can take control of the airwaves here even in these remaining moments. We have enough time for you. Just dial in now at 855-450-FREE like freedom. That's 855-450-3733. Tonight, it's Ian,
Richie Rich,
and Mark.
Hey, don't forget to check out more of Richie on his show, The Anarchist Experience.
AnarchistExperience.com.
At AnarchistExperience.com, you can download episodes. You can subscribe to the podcast.
Yeah, more subscribe to the podcast. We do the live show, but we haven't really broadcast it because no one really calls in. But we do have call-in numbers.
It's hard, man. We don't.
It's
even,
hard.
Some nights we don't even get phone calls, and we're on a bunch of radio stations. It is what it is.
But the number's there on the website, so you can call in, leave us a message, tell us what you think, and then we'll talk about it or invite you on some other way to have a discussion.
What was the topic of discussion this week?
Is the office of the presidency too powerful?
Yes.
Yes, well,
it should not exist.
Should not exist. You're right.
The whole federal government shouldn't exist. And that's what Gene, the Christian anarchist, is talking with us about here. He's talking about the government goon squad coming to an end. So you are saying it's going to be ugly. It's going to be dangerous. They're going to lash out. It's going to be deadly. Tell me more.
Well, I don't think they are going to lash out. Because it's like when the Soviet Union collapsed, the government went away overnight, but pretty much, it took a little while. But once the checks stop coming, or once the financial disaster happens to where federal money is no longer any good, people are not going to show up for work. The FBI agents aren't going to show up for work when they're not getting a check. The police goons aren't going to show up for work when they're not getting a check.
Not for long. So, I mean, we did see for some amount of time they did continue to show up during the government shutdown last year. I think it was last year with
a lot of
Trump.
that was because there was an expectation.
They're going to get paid eventually.
Right. So that's what I'm saying. They're going to keep going for some amount of time, but after months, they're probably going to give up.
Yeah.
So, and when all that happens, and when the food trucks stop rolling because people don't have, I'm not going to show up to drive the truck if I'm not getting paid. It's going to take a very long time to rebuild another structure that will take care of all that. In the meantime,
for a lot of people, yes.
Yeah. In the meantime,
but now, wait a minute. Let's look at Venezuela right now, where you do have a situation where the government money is near to worthless.
That's what I was going to say. Yeah.
I mean, it's still spendable. You can if you've got stacks and stacks and stacks of it, you might be able to buy a beer. or a dinner or something like
Get a gallon of gas.
So you can still spend the money, and people are going to obviously spend it as quickly as they receive it, so it doesn't continue to devalue while it's in their hands. But businesses still exist in Venezuela. I mean, they're struggling. It's hard to put food on the table. But
a lot of people are also leaving Venezuela
if they can get out.
Those that can afford it are
right.
leaving.
But that hasn't stopped the government from continuing to just completely rape the populace there.
Well, Venezuela does have the advantage of having countries around it that have some kind of an economy going, and some of that trickles into the Venezuela, and some of those people can also migrate out into those other countries.
So we're all going to Canada.
If the USA were to have that happen, it's basically a worldwide situation.
As the reserve currency of the world.
Yeah, we're not going to have neighbors in Canada helping us out or Mexico helping us out. It's not going to happen.
Well, I don't think business is going to stop if the U.S. dollar fails. They will go somewhere else. They will find something else to trade in.
Yes, some businesses will continue. Your local welding shop, he'll probably trade for silver,
take crypto,
dimes,
silver, whatever.
Yeah, I mean, the transition from taking USDs to crypto, although if USDs collapsed, it would be bad for many companies, but they can still accept, there's an alternative right now today, and it's not Apple Pay, it's not Google Pay. It might be Facebook's Libras or whatever the heck they're pulling out, because that's not necessarily tied to a particular currency.
It's tied to multiple currencies.
Well, that's a problem, and because once the dollar collapses, the euro is and the pound are right behind it.
The fallout is going to be mainly those who are currently dependent on government financial services.
For sure.
Whether they're welfare recipients or government employees, or anyone, any of the crony capitalists who can't compete without government protection.
But you think,
but that's a lot of people.
You think, Gene, that the federal government is going to go the way of the Soviet Union, where it basically just implodes quickly, as opposed to, say, this Venezuelan slow fall into just the toilet, basically? I mean, the Venezuelan situation has gone on for years now. For most of the last decade, it has gotten really bad, but it's continually gotten bad, and it hasn't been an overnight failure.
Well, I think there'll be a slow lead up to the collapse, but once the collapse happens, I do believe it'll be pretty fast. But yes,
I'm with Gene. I think it'll be sudden.
The currency is going to take a while in order to get to the point where it's just totally useless. But once it reaches that point, yes, I think that the federal government will be gone within weeks.
Well, if it does take a while, then that at least gives people the opportunity to get something else. If they didn't think it was important to diversify themselves now, they will start to think it's important as soon as the dollar starts dramatically losing value, in the same way that many in Venezuela are absolutely interested in things like cryptocurrency, because they see that as a better store of value than the bolivar.
The funny thing is that you can go online and argue all day and all night with a bunch of preppers about what's the best knife, but talk to them about cryptocurrency. It's like, wow, I don't want to get it. You need to be prepared for the future where the dollar collapses.
Well, yeah, but if you're a prepper, you also believe that the electricity grid's going to go down, in which case crypto would be useless.
You may believe in that.
Yeah.
I mean, there's a variety of catastrophes that could happen, and if you want to be prepared for them, having some cryptocurrency is not a bad idea.
Wouldn't hurt. I agree with you, but it's not where you should put all your eggs, I don't think. I think you need to have a diversified, you could probably want to have some toilet paper, you probably want to have some bullets.
22 longs.
Yeah.
The problem for a lot of people
Cigarettes.
is because the lead up is going to seem like the lead up has been in the past, where the boom bust cycle, right? The bust happens, but then it's followed by a boom, or there's some sort of recovery, or the government steps in to assist whatever's going on. That when the collapse actually happens, they won't be prepared for it because they think it's part of another cycle. So it'll
pass.
It'll be a long build followed by a sudden collapse of which there will be no recovery. And while people are waiting for the recovery to happen, that's when people get scared, people get angry, people get violent because they run out of their prepped stuff. And then where are you going to go get it?
Well, the
black market.
Half of the nation lives in a small handful of cities piled up on top of each other like shoe boxes.
That's going to be a bad scene.
Those cities are going to be horrible.
Yeah, that's going to be bad. I'll agree with you there.
Yeah,
they're going to be like zombies coming out into the hinterland trying to find a radish to eat.
Well, they got guns in the hinterland. So,
yes, they do.
That could get ugly. Hey, Gene, thanks for the call tonight. Appreciate hearing from you. That's Gene, the Christian anarchist. Sounded great there on our Discord server.
Didn't they pretty much get rid of the guns in Connecticut and New York State and
They're trying
New
to.
Jersey? I don't think it's going to be as big of a problem there then.
David is in New Mexico online, listening on TuneIn. Go ahead.
Yeah, there's many things that you didn't quite understand tonight, and not enough time to get into them all, but you're in that slow build-up right now. You're in it now. And the cryptocurrency, I have gone personally on multiple occasions as long as 8 months without going to the store to buy a single thing or having a single thing delivered to me, which is far more valuable than having a bunch of cryptocurrency and nobody that will sell you anything because it's priceless and they need it for themselves. And since you brought it up, remember that in real life scene, Terminator movie scene that I'm in with Arnold Schwarzenegger, just me and Arnold on a deserted street at midnight?
Was this a dream you had?
No, this was in real life. It really happened. I'm on the street and with my girlfriend, and Arnold Schwarzenegger is coming towards us, and we pass in the night and exchange words on an empty street at midnight in the middle of winter in Minneapolis. And he's coming down the street in a full-length leather trench coat looking exactly like a scene out of the Terminator. But anyway, and nuclear power, my cousin Ernest Orlando Lawrence, since you brought it up, Laurentium.
He's just jumping all over the place. I thought you were going to tie Arnold Schwarzenegger into the...
I am, but
just everything we've talked about condensed down to 30 seconds.
Over me? 30 seconds. So anyway, my cousin was the first to split the atom. Look him up, Ernest Orlando Lawrence. And you misunderstood a whole bunch of things. The guy in Germany was trying to tell you that you need to start thinking outside of the box. You need to stop thinking about exchanging goods for money, because if the trend continues, goods will become like air. It's just there. It doesn't cost anybody anything. Yep. You want a Mercedes? Just think it, and you'll have a Mercedes.
Get your 3D printed Mercedes.
You're thinking too much in real practical terms as of today. You need to start thinking more theoretical.
Well, see, this is why people can't predict the future very effectively, because they only live in the now and they don't have all the data that they would have in the future. So it can be difficult to know what's going to happen. Thank you for the call, David. And the people that can predict it correctly will profit if they do the right things.
Oh, that's true.
Yeah,
they got to predict it and act on the prediction.
And invest into things or whatever.
I knew that was going to happen. Whoops.
Hey, we're out of time. See you tomorrow night online. In the meantime, you can join us then over at freetalklive.com.
$100 in Bitcoin Cash on September 2, 2019. And I'm not giving it away because I like giving away money, quite the contrary. It's because I need a favor. Please go to demo.freetalklive.com and fill out the survey there as thoroughly as you like. There's an optional email slot, and if you put your email in there, you will forever be signed up for whatever prize I'm giving to incentivize people that month to fill out my form. Advertisers need this info on our listeners, so fill it out as truthfully as you can, please. Demo.freetalklive.com.
Does your dog itch, scratch, stink, or shed like crazy? Come to Dynovite for help.
Order a 90-day supply of Dynovite.
Dynovite is nutrition.
Pick up 2 bottles of Lico Chops, get the 3rd bottle free.
New improved Lico Chops with omega-3, omega-6, vitamin E.
And now, 6 extra direct-fed microbials.
Even better for the digestive tract and immune system.
Try Lico Chops. Buy 2, get 1 free.
At Dynovite.com.
DINOVITE.com.
The new 4th edition of Healing Our World, The Compassion of Libertarianism, will take your understanding of liberty to a deeper level and has over 1,300 updated references, new cartoons, and a foreword by Dr. Ron Paul. With discounts for multiple book purchases, the 4th edition of Healing Our World is a great gift for the liberals, pragmatists, environmentalists, and Christians in your life who think libertarianism is cold-hearted. Get yours today at healing.freetalklive.com and use promo code FTL for a $5 discount. If you want to know the latest about Free Talk Live before we go on the air, all you need to decide is how you want it delivered. It's your choice. Visit news.freetalklive.com to receive our usually weekly news updates by email. Plus, we have a Twitter account at twitter.freetalklive.com, and you can follow us on the decentralized Mastodon platform at toot.freetalklive.com. So please follow us at toot.freetalklive.com and sign up for our emails at news.freetalklive.com.
This is the Liberty Radio Network, broadcasting the latest liberty-oriented audio content 24 hours a day at LRN.FM.
This is the Liberty Beat, your daily source for liberty news and activist updates. Produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. Online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow with your latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Gold is trading at $1,518. Silver at $18.67, and Bitcoin is trading around $10,581. Today's prices are brought to you by InnoScale. Take off with Managed Cloud. Looking for a safe, secure way to store your important files online? Let InnoScale handle it for you. Their high-availability cloud servers are the perfect solution for clients needing one or more secure, scalable servers with built-in hardware failover protection. For details, see them online at innoscale.net. In the news, in the state of California, up until this week, citizens who were able-bodied persons 18 years of age or older would be charged with a crime if a police officer asked them for help and they refused. All of that has since changed, as Governor Gavin Newsom has signed a bill that no longer requires or forces citizens to help police officers. The law was still on the books from the days of the Wild West. The California Posse Comitatus Act of 1872 made it a crime punishable by up to a $1,000 fine for refusing to respond to a police officer's call for assistance during an arrest. The Free Thought Project reports that it took until 2019 to change the bill that essentially turned citizens into indentured servants of police officers. Such bills were originally drafted as a means to garner help for cops who were attempting to catch fugitive slaves. As the Sacramento Bee points out, Posse Comitatus derives from medieval English common law, but saw widespread use in America's early days, including as a tool of enforcement for the Fugitive Slave Act. The Liberty Beat is sponsored in part by Brave Botanicals, high-quality kratom and CBD at reasonable prices with excellent customer service. Brave Botanicals is activist-owned and mission-driven, and believes so strongly in the power of kratom, they're giving it away for free. Just go to freeounceofkratom.com for a free ounce of kratom delivered to your door. Just pay shipping. That's freeounceofkratom.com. This is the latest edition of the Liberty Beat. Find us online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. Your news now continues. As YouTube, Google, and Twitter crack down on peaceful channels, censor alternative media, and allow child exploitation videos to flourish, the Federal Trade Commission has slapped the tech giant with a $170 million fine and other sanctions for unscrupulously and illegally tracking children. The Free Thought Project reports that the fine was the result of a lawsuit against the company for violating the rights of children under 13 years of age by tracking them online without their parents' consent. Political reports that under a consent decree, YouTube will require users to self-identify whether videos they upload are meant for children, obtain parental consent before collecting personal information about kids, and provide its employees with annual training on how to comply with the children's privacy law. For the last 5 years, a serial rapist has terrorized the state of Georgia. At least 8 different cases of rape and sexual battery have been tied to 24-year-old Kenneth Bowen III. But until now, he has avoided getting caught. But all that changed when the very department who was investigating his case caught him after he began the process of becoming a cop. Clayton County Police Chief Kevin Roberts, during a news conference held last week, said, quote, "Had he not attempted to join ranks in the Clayton County Police Department, it is questionable as to when we would have apprehended him." When looking through police employee records, investigators found details that link Bowen to the cases. A search warrant to obtain Bowen's DNA was obtained last week, which linked him to at least 8 different attacks on women. After he was arrested, Bowen was charged with 7 counts of rape and 1 count of sexual battery. Support for the Liberty Beat comes from the Conscious Resistance Network, featuring videos, news reports, and articles from a spiritual anarchist perspective. Experience the Conscious Resistance at theconsciousresistance.com. How would you like to have your business featured on the Liberty Beat? You can. Just send an email to libertybeat@snls.news for details. This is the Liberty Beat, produced in partnership with SNLS News and listeners like you. The Liberty Beat is online at libertybeat.news and snls.news. I'm Mick Murrow, reporting for the Liberty Beat, reminding you, spread liberty with a smile.
Are you a sneezer? If you're not, can you get close to one? I don't literally mean someone sneezing. Sneezer, as defined by marketing guru Seth Godin, is an opinion leader. When a sneezer mentions something, other people catch what Godin calls the idea virus. Seth Godin says some people are more likely to tell their friends about a great new idea. So identifying and courting sneezers is a key success factor for idea merchants. His book, Unleashing the Idea Virus, is the most downloaded ebook in history, and you can download